Welcome back, everyone, to the VESL Valorant High School Qualifiers. My name is Vodable, and joining me today is TTL, or Time to Light. Welcome back, because this is the final day of competition. Well, at least on the streams. There'll still be some matches played to see who qualifies for the regionals in January this weekend, but we have the Battle of Mechs, or of Mech specifically, because we have East Mech, then North Mech, then West Mech, but no South Mech, unfortunately, here at TTL.
Yeah, South Mech we're missing out on. I think South Mech played yesterday, and/or they're playing off stream in the next couple days, so we don't get to see them. But we do get, of all 3 games, 1 mech per game. How many times I'm going to screw up one of their names after casting the other one for an entire match is beyond me. Speaking of screw-ups, my light over there just flickered before we started and just didn't work, so I'm very one-sided today. Apologies for that one. You can see the very fun shadow back there.
Well, speaking of one-sided, we only have one best of one here, and the side that was chosen by Mallard Creek is defense. So the attacking side will be East Mech. We'll see how they fare here on Bind for, I think this is the second most popular map that we've had so far here at TTL.
Yeah, Bind being on the cards once more. It's been Ascent played the very most, to basically everybody's dismay at this point. However, we do have Bind on the cards. No Haven again, I believe it's still disabled, and Ascent, as far as I'm aware, has also been removed. It was originally going to be yesterday. They decided Sunset better, so today it is Ascent, and Bind is left over. I really want to see a Sunset game. The only time we've seen Sunset all day was when our Observer played the esports director in a team deathmatch game yesterday.
That was a fun time. You know, we got to see Risk do the best that he could, almost, but was down by, I think, like 2 kills at the end of it. Didn't have the Vandal at the same time as their opponent, so then they lost most of the gun battles after that. So RIP for them. But nonetheless, on Bind this time between these 2 teams, I feel like we saw Mallard Creek one of these days, if I'm not mistaken, but familiar high school that's been in the different VESL high school qualifiers for the different titles we've had so far. And this is the second to last title. We also have these matches for next week is going to be Call of Duty. So that's going to be a great time to see exactly how those teams fare for the new Modern Warfare. I guess it's not really a remaster. It's a new title, but it's called Modern Warfare 3. I don't know. Either way, hey, we have all 5 players on either side. And yes, we did see Mallard Creek, because I remember seeing Good Game Kimchi, but also Scarlett Johansson on that team. And I think they just destroyed whoever it was they were facing off against, if I'm not mistaken.
I am scrolling through my notes as well. Also, South Mech, it's understandable they're not on stream because they would have been the only mech team to be on this stream twice. So we're just evening things out.
That's fair.
Actually, no, I lied. East Mech has played on the stream. They played Hopewell Day too. But overall, we're getting some more balancing in terms of the mech squads.
Oh yeah, they swept Hopewell too.
Yeah,
and now I'm looking at it for East Mech.
It was not particularly close. So that game we can come back to later. But East Mech has looked pretty good throughout this week, to say the very least. I'm also pointing out, you were talking about us seeing Mallard Creek. I'm scrolling through, but I recognize the names. However,
yeah,
I don't see them in my notes.
I don't have notes either about it. That's weird.
Did they play yesterday? They didn't play yesterday, right?
No, they didn't play it yesterday. So I don't know where we saw them from. It's interesting, because I remember mentioning Scarlett Johansson, so I don't know. Answer Disco. Yeah, we casted this team, but we don't have notes on them. Maybe because it was a stomp. Who knows?
I'm scrolling through. I download all the VODs. I'm scrolling through each and every VOD, thinking, oh, well, maybe I just didn't take notes, and I don't even see them on our VODs.
Okay. Well, maybe we saw them on the A stream. That could have been it too.
That had to have been it, right?
Oh, you know what it was? Maybe they were a team we were supposed to see, but that match was a forfeit. Or yeah, I think that's what it was. So I remember seeing them anyway. But either way, this will be our first time seeing them, since neither of us have them in their notes. But we've seen the player name somehow. So either way, East Mech versus Mallard Creek. Mallard Creek on the attacking side this time. And from what I remember on what we saw, Scarlett Johansson was popping off pretty good. So we'll see how them and Sir Disco do. What are you feeling about these comps though between these 2 teams?
So my thought is that East Mech is actually switched. We may have our sides swapped.
You know, that is 100% it.
That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, East Mech is the other side that is attacking, and yeah. Mallard Creek are defense. Yeah, because they even said that. That's right. Okay, cool. We do have our graphics swapped.
Yeah, yeah. Graphics swapped. Eastmech is starting on the attacking side. That's why I was so confused. I could not figure out
like,
why.
what?
There we go. Oh, no. There we go. Okay. Well, Eastmech starting off on the attack. Keep that in mind as we kick this round underway. It'll be fixed by the beginning of the next round. We very much promise. Already aggression from Mallard Creek as the brand new squad. They are being dusted down Eastmech. I gotta say, I'm confused.
They're looking okay. They're confused as well. Eastmech, you know, on the attacking side. Well, let's just say attackers and defenders. That'll make it easier till it's fixed. But the attackers down by 2 players. They have all their members though. And last time we did see the attackers in the bracket or the group stage, excuse me, they did pretty good in their group there. So we've got to see if that can transition here forward. But already down at 2 players again, 1 by 1, players being taken down by the defending side, and that's working out well enough for those defenders in Mallard Creek, who opted for the defending side after the map was picked. Power does get Kimchi. 1 player remains, and that is going to be MyCultura. Trying to see what they can do, but they only have half HP against 4 players. They have the spike at least, but rotation taking a bit too much time, and I feel like they're going to be caught unaware as they go through mid here.
Yeah, there's no way you're winning this one. Low HP, you may find a kill or 2, but not even that. Anxiety, or amexity, amexity? That American Express anxiety combined. That one's going to throw me off. Eastmech does indeed get dropped in the pistol round. That is their first lost round on this stream. Last time they played here, they did
anxiety. I see what you mean.
Yeah. They played against Hopewell, and Hopewell, we'll say, didn't have the greatest of showings. The one thing I wanted to talk about was the switch up in terms of roles for Eastmech. In this game, they are changing some things up. Kimchi is still playing in the sky. Sir Disco, however, is not on that Omen again. We are still seeing the Omen, but it's MyCultura, and they're not bringing MyCultura on the Killjoy. They're instead bringing a Sage entirely. So some switches, and I can't figure out why.
Maybe based on the comp of the other opponents and what they're seeing there. I mean, there's been some time since that group stage as well. Got to see a bit of an overhead there of the site as it is being contested on both angles. Eastmech, again, just having a struggle bus of a time on the attacking side against this Mallard Creek defense, who have not even dropped a single player yet. The Viper, weakest there, just 1 tap at that. But again, it is an eco round for them. They have to save up as best they can. It's only round 2. So you can't really judge a book by its cover. That is these first few rounds. But not the greatest start from them, since they were only able to get 1 player down before, and now they haven't gotten a single one yet.
Yeah, they've had some difficulties, but it's the first couple rounds. That's a jump scare. Wall breaks in front of you, and 4 or 5 people are all looking at you. Talk about a horror game. Didn't know Valorant was that. Back last time we saw Eastmech, they did start off on the attacking side. They won all 12 of the first rounds, and then won the only defensive round they needed to play. That was a 13-0, like we said, against Hopewell. When Hopewell played the doubleheader, wasn't a great showing from them. However, good game, went 25-5. It's a 5.0 KD. Kimchi went 16-0, technically an infinite KD, or an undefined KD, depending on how you like to do your math. And Scarlett Johansson and Sir Disco combined for 23 together, 13 for Scarlett Johansson, 10 for Sir Disco. MyCultura was the only one that went negative in the game, went 1-4 because they were playing on the Killjoy, and everybody else just kept taking all the kills.
That's right, I forgot about that. Well, not the exact same success as we saw last time. A completely different roster that they're playing against. Mallard Creek school that's been doing pretty decent to make it to those regionals and a lot of the different esports titles. So trying to make it one step further themselves here on out. Kimchi able to take down the turret, going for a flash, but not the greatest maneuver because the jet just moved forward at the exact same time. They probably flashed them by accident, but Scarlett Johansson finally able to pick up 2 kills for Eastmech and a plant going down. Already looking a lot better once they have some rifles in their hands.
Oh, and the Jet's currently sitting in CT. Watch out for that. Walk through the smoke, and it's a good game to find that kill. Anxiety in a 1 versus 4. I don't think this one's all that attainable. This was the bonus round for Mallard Creek, so there's a saving grace for them. This wasn't a round they were supposed to pick up. They, however, didn't do all that much economic damage, and usually you want to at least try for that. If you don't, you're running into more problems than you can solve down the line. And more importantly, you don't ruin Eastmech's economy going into that first real gun round, because this isn't the gun round. This is Eastmech's first gun round, but not Mallard Creek's. And when they want to have it a little bit more of an equal round, they don't have that same shot. MX 4-round burst with a stinger from 20 meters. Probably not the greatest of ideas, and eSmec will take full advantage. 1 round difference.
Yeah, 4 players remaining for eSmec is a big thing to note there too, that it took them such a long time to really get the upper hand player-wise, and finally we were able to see a couple kills here and there from eSmec to start the train rolling out of the station. But Mallard Creek, you mentioned it, was around that it's okay if they gave it up. Now this is where things really matter the most between both of these teams. If eSmec can carry on where they left off in that last round, or if Mallard Creek are just going to pop them right in the face real quick to get a round back in their favor.
Again, a B-long push. This one a little bit more defaulty for eSmec. I believe 3 players here, and everybody wanting to try and play for refrags as they can find it. Do they clear this corner?
Uh-oh.
It seems like it was cleared last round, and it will be again. Good game. Yeah, talk about a jump scare again. Power not expecting the jet, and Good Game will lose their tailwind, but they're already a kill away from building it back up.
Also nice to put the smoke down there to go through the teleporter, switch sides, and make sure that they have plenty of room to work with to get onto this A site and put a plant down. But the Shock Dart's coming through, and they are doing some good damage. Speaking of good damage, good game. 3 kills to their name so far after teleporting through, and the plant comes down. Completely different game out of eSmec after those first 2 rounds.
Trailblazer doesn't find anything. On the bright side, they know they're not being flanked. The problem is Sir Disco just throws the wall at their feet and elevates themselves up into heaven. eSmec, back-to-back rounds. As soon as they pick up rifles, it looks perfectly fine for them. Maybe those first two rounds were misnomers, maybe outliers, considering the lack of weaponry, but this is a scary-looking eSmec once more, back to your regularly scheduled programming.
Experts with rifles, amateurs with pistols is what it seems to be the case. We'll see if that continues, though, into that second half once we do get another couple pistol rounds here and there. But 2 for the defending side, 2 for the attacking side, and 2 plants is a big thing to note for eSmec, that it wasn't just them dueling out and taking down the other team one by one. Good game. Looking really good with those 3 kills the last round. And I love the rotation through the teleporter from B to the A site to make sure that they could activate on that initiative. See what Jayla can do here, though. Scarlett Johansson starting off with the frags yet again. It's 2 first bloods in a row. Good game. Just waiting in the smoke, going to take them down. Jayla, so unfortunate, looked the wrong way at the wrong time.
And even while Good Game was taking out their rifle the second time, they still caught Power off guard. Granted, they did have a classic, but still. It's now MXID, 1 versus 5 ace clutch scenario. They'll find 1 with the Nova.
Ouch.
Not, yeah, this is Bucky. Sorry, Counter-Strike moment. They're having some problems on the Mallard Creek side. Granted, it was a little bit more of an eco round. Maybe again something can change down the line, but there has to be improvements sooner rather than later because eSmec, they are more than experienced with running away with games on Bind.
A big thing to note here, too, is that it was overwhelming wins from eSmec in those last 3 rounds. They only dropped a single player every time, and they were able to get the spike down as well, so Mallard Creek have not had a single answer for them.
The answer here seems to be everybody's favorite default 3-2 split on the defensive side, 2 focusing over towards mid, at least A mid, and 1 watching showers from heaven, while the other 2 patiently wait on B. There is utility as well on this B side, so there is some saving grace for that lack of an extra player. But eSmec just basically holding W, but slowly on towards A. And it seems like it's going to work. The swing already, Trailblazer used to clear the corner, and everybody being discerned out of their current positions, and a good Trailblazer stuns out the player stuck on the backside of the site. 1 for 1 though, Power's still alive in Covey.
Huge kill for Power, too, but as I say that, Kimchi able to take them down instead. Going for the plant, plenty to work with. Good game. Would have been better if they could have gotten that finish off onto Amexiety. They finally do get 1, but they look around the other direction as they were distracted from heaven, and instead they'll be taken down. A peg, still 3v2, and make it 2v1. Excuse me on that one. Jayla, nice pop. Trying to go for the defuse, but wall they're trying to take down so that they can make sure that they're able to get it off. Instead, not enough. Frag onto the spike's going to make it that much more difficult to approach, and they know as soon as they hear the sound cue, they're going to push forward, but actually they're just not going to be baited at all. They had the lineups, they have everything set. There's nothing that Jayla can do on this one. They're going to go and save instead.
Everybody should survive here. It'll be a little close for eSmec as they run away, but no, they'll be fine as well. It's still a close round for Mallard Creek, but one they can't pick up at the end of the day. And it seemed like even though they brought it back to somewhat close, they found the trade kills they were looking for, they still couldn't end up finding the rounds they were looking for. Ooh. And they couldn't find the round individually. This is becoming a problem and one they're not finding all that many solutions to.
Sorry, my camera was bugging out there for a second. But I guess there was a technical pause called there, so probably trying to figure out exactly what's going on with, I'm assuming the Mallard Creek side, because things haven't been going in their favor. Okay, so I guess we'll see.
Yeah,
Interesting.
There have to be improvements, though. As soon as rifles were picked up by EastMech, it just seemed like they had a fight planned for every single round. And there hasn't been all that much recovery. That's my main concern. Mallard Creek, that was the closest round we've seen since guns were picked up. And even then, it was a 1v2, both players in the same spot, a utility left over. There need to be more early engagements. You can't afford to just give up showers for free, give up A mid, B long for free. They have not contested any neutral grounds in the earlier stages of any of these rounds. Except for B long, the one time Power was sitting in the corner of Gardens, and then they were cleared. And then the round basically ended 20 seconds later.
Yeah, not the greatest position to find themselves in, but that was a good round for the Mallard Creek side. They were able to bring it down to 2 players remaining, technically 3 because of the 3-on-1 at the end of it, but nonetheless, almost saw a clutch up there at the end, but still, an interesting time for a timeout for Mallard Creek, but I respect it. I mean, they're trying to figure out exactly what they need to change. That was the closest that they got after the last 3 rounds, now 4, to taking down EastMech. So before we get to an even stronger lead for EastMech, maybe that timeout's exactly what they needed to take down the other competition. But good game, clearing the corners here. See the Viper ultimate that is up, covering the B site. They're still trying to push onto it and get some shots here and there, but Red, I don't know how they were able to get Scarlett Johansson, but good for them.
They were just sitting under the window. The fact that they get out is the surprising part. 2 separate players see them, and the spray just doesn't go through. I'm surprised they didn't try and finish that one off. There's a flank coming through. This is the final recovery we've been looking for out of Mallard Creek, but a wall off, and Disco can get aggressive. They'll heal themselves, wait a few seconds, and there could be a re-engagement here. Wait for it. As soon as Kimji does so, there's the re-swing from Disco. Perfect 2-in-1 setup as they regain that man advantage.
Oof. Looking good for the side of EastMech. Keeping the pressure going here as best they can. Sir Disco. Not much they can do there. Bread with the shotty. Got one down before, but have to back off the site. Know that their teammates will back them up as best they can, but 6 HP in a dream, not too much they can do. Hopefully flash and support their teammates is the best that they can hope for at this point in time. But the spike does go down, which does help out the confidence of EastMech, but it won't secure them the victory just yet. So I do have to take down these players one step at a time.
Disco already taken down Jayla, though. That should spell the round over. I wouldn't hate a save from this point. Bread has Seekers available, yes, but they're still going to go for this. You've got a Bucky and a 2v4, and you have the spike down. It's gone for 20 seconds at this point. Unless your Viper finds a kill immediately, which they do, and you find a follow-up. I don't know. Now your Seekers can become a lot more viable.
Oof. Defuse coming out, though. The shot's going through, and it's still not enough. Are they going to get it off? It seems like they will somehow. Getting the defuse on that play, there should have been a shot coming through instead, but no. They got the defuse. They somehow were able to take advantage of that situation. That was kind of a throw, I gotta say, from EastMech.
Yeah, I don't know. It's also the conversation of overswinging without really needing to early. They were not in too far forward positions, but at the same time, it should have been a round they were able to pick up. The way that you retake there is perfect, though. You have utility from Power, the retake toxic screen, and the Seekers used early. Even with utility dedicated back from EastMech, you do not have the available vision that you need. And it ends up coming back to bite them. I cannot believe they even go for that retake on 6 HP, much less stick it through a smoke, again, on 6 HP. A short breeze would have blown them over. Somehow the flash didn't.
Poison's off.
It's time ticking it down between these 2 teams to see who's going to initiate first, get that first blood. And, well, it's Scarlett Johansson, but a quick trade for Power. Good look out of Power on that play, too. They've been taken down first a lot of times in these first couple of rounds. We're already at the halfway point of the half, and now the rotation's coming through all the way to the B site with the spike, but there's almost 3 players waiting patiently. Power going back towards the A side. The shot will go through, and Kimchi does take down Anxiety. Bread onto Good Game, and this is an interesting split between these players, but you see that a long rotation from the Sage back to try and support the B push, now all the way towards the A site. They're just taking their time and a little bit too much of it.
My question is, why do they go to B? They had the entirety of the A site minus heaven, and they decide to rotate. I understand if you're rotating and you can get there quickly and you know you've already taken out utility, but there was still killjoy utility. You now have a resurrection. Mike Ultra caught with their knife out. Somehow Bread not taken out. Will. No, they don't! Bread finds 3!
What a huge shutdown. Spike not even down just yet. Sage, the last one remaining, is going to go and initiate the spike, but really just a couple shots coming through. Could deny it. No, it does not. 1v3 situation, but they all got partial health, so it is possible for them to get this clutch. We'll see if it comes out, though.
They have the opportunity. The issue now remains the lack of information for Sir Disco. They have to worry about the flank because that's being walked in on, and they have to worry about utility that can be dedicated. Watch the snakebite be prepped here for power. Their shoulder seen.
Flash.
Good guiding light. They don't force him all the way around the angle, but as soon as Brad swings, it's 5 kills for them in the round. One of the few instances where you can find 5 kills, yet not the ace, as we see the tied-up scoreline once more.
What a good maneuver by Bread, but also the way that we saw just the flash come out and then the Viper grenade, making sure that they were taking damage, stunned, and nothing that they could do to try and clutch that up. The flank also coming through as well. That's exactly how you want to see that played. And a timeout, we talked about it. Good timing for the side of Mallard Creek, and now they are able to tie things up themselves as well after a 4-round carry through, for the most part at least, from East Mech. And this is anybody's game at this point in time.
Gotta say, that's one back for East Mech that, again, could have been theirs and should have as soon as they found early A-site control. For some reason, Mike Ultra is walking around with their knife out. They lose that fight. And the fact that you find 5 kills there as Bread, while you should have been cleared first thing, that's one you gotta be thanking your lucky stars and thanking the fact you have good mechanical skill as well. Already an opening kill. Showers completely dusted down. Scarlett Johansson quickly taken care of. The Black Widow reigns no more.
Sent back to the gulag on that one. Turret down gives the information that they are on the B site, and so does the Viper wall go up real quick. Bread, who else to pop off? But finally they are taking down from their Killing Fury Sir Disco. Speaking of, 2 pieces they're able to take out of the pie of the other team, but Power has had the number of good games so many times in a row. Sobol comes through, no connections either. Aim anxiety, nice look. 2-on-1 situation yet again for Sir Disco. They're going to teleport all the way to the other end.
What? Go! What? I don't understand why they're waiting. What are they waiting for? A written invitation? Are they saving?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Are they intentionally... You wait 15 seconds for the other team to rotate onto the site, and then you push the site. You don't have your wall, so you can't play in the corner safely. And now you have the 1v2. I am the most confused I've ever been casting Valorant. You've seen both players. You've heard both players in the B side. You then rotate and wait 20 seconds like you were early for dinner.
Maybe they thought they didn't hear 2 players left on that side. I don't know. That's all I can think of is that they thought someone might have been there and heard the teleporter and they were waiting for them to come through, but that was just a complete misplay. Unfortunate for East Mech. I mean, they could have gotten the spike down, but economy-wise, they're not doing terrible, but they could be doing a lot better if they did get that spike down.
This game could very reasonably be like 6-3 right now.
Yeah,
in 2 of the last 3 rounds, they've had a very definitive chance of winning, and arguably they should have won, regardless of the skill conversation. Strategy-wise, they were basically shoo-ins. And yet, Bread finds 5 kills, and now, for some reason in a 1v2, you sit in the teleporter like you were allergic to the floor outside of it. Oh no, and Bread hasn't been cleared. This is such a problem. This round's over. I'm saying it right now, Bread has not been cleared. If they push this B side, this round's over.
Nah, they're rotating around. Yeah, smart enough to not do that. Went to the teleporter, split as well through the mid. Now everyone rotating quickly onto the A site. Good game with their ultimate. Trying to dance with the blades against their opponent's throats as best they can, but nobody really biting at this point in time. Finally, someone goes down in Power, taking down Scarlett Johansson. Nobody clearing that area.
They clear it, but they don't find the kill. That's the problem. And now look at the rotation. There's 4 members here available, and nobody's doing anything about it. Double for Vash. They end up finding a headshot on a Kimchi. This round may be over again. Power's just going to reswing, finds a headshot, almost sprays for the second, but Sir Disco, they're distracted. Jayla will finish him off, and it is 4 consecutive rounds. Somehow, as eSmack again had a much more reasonable shot, yet couldn't finish.
Unfortunate spot to be in, too, because the timeout came through, and well, that's not what we like to see. We like some good sportsmanship, but nonetheless, Mallard Creek confident so far at the end of the half almost here. Just a couple more rounds to go at that, but eSmack have not won a single round since we did see that timeout come through.
My question is, does Mallard Creek make a mistake? Because they have made very few of them. Opening kills have really been their only boon, and even then, it's looked extremely clean for them afterwards. If eSmack can't end up finding real estate control and converting off of it, I don't know what's going to happen. We haven't seen all that many useful flashes out of the guiding lights. There's one onto B. Well, no one's here. Unless it's a bait, I don't... And it's an unsuccessful bait. You've seen one player and everybody's staying on that A side, I say, as the Viper starts to rotate. And the Raze starts to rotate, but they'll go back.
Oh, man. And good game. I talked about how crucial they were in getting some of those monumental victories for eSmack. They've been taken out so early a lot of these times, but also not as effective as we're used to seeing. Trades back and forth between both teams and 3v3 situation. As I say that, Cultura looked really good on that kill. Got the wall down, they got the spike down in a better position this time, and this is the first time in a while we've seen the spike planted by eSmack or it not have a chance to be diffused by the other side. Nonetheless, though, Brad with just a shot through the, I don't know, something to take down my Cultura on that play, and Power on a Scarlett Johansson. Who else but Sir Disco, last player remaining, Power with a clutch.
I cannot believe, again, it's a scenario where they're just out of position. The shot you saw into the Omen was from Heaven, by the way. The fact that you expose yourself to Heaven with the wall up is beyond me.
I just didn't expect that.
You have Safety and Cubby. You have two players watching lamps. Why are you swinging that without directly looking at Heaven? I understand the whole Seekers conversation. But even then, you put the wall down to isolate yourself on or around the spike through A mid and lamps. You basically allow Mallard Creek to go, oh yeah, they've put the wall up themselves. Here's some process elimination they've given to us. And eSmack, I'm going to say it. Of the 5 rounds they've lost, they probably should have won 4 of them. They could have won all 5, but they should have won 4 of them. And it is a combination of mistakes and extremely good mechanical skill from Mallard Creek to just completely wipe that off the board.
Well, this half has been completely turned around and won by Mallard Creek, regardless of how this next round goes. If you're eSmack, you gotta hope you can get this one for the road and change your fate into that second half. But we've seen how the pistol rounds have gone. eSmack really didn't have much of an answer for Mallard Creek until they got some rifles in their hands. And well, Brad with a sniper shot onto Sir Disco, who's lasted the longest every single time. It's been a struggle for there, but Scarlett Johansson finally taking down Brad, finally planting on the B site for the first time in a long time. Or maybe even the first time, but nonetheless, eSmack in a better position than they have been before. Kimchi needs to win this. That they do. Putting a flash out, but doesn't really tag anyone. But still, 3-on-1 situation already. Kimchi's going to have to fully clutch, and there comes the Viper Spit again. And this is going to be a tough situation to find themselves. Gets one, though. Somehow haven't been found out. Gets another. Pistol remaining. Gets the sniper. Can they clutch it up? They get it! The clutch! Oh my goodness, from Kimchi. 4 kills to get the victory for eSmack.
And the fact that he slips the gap through 2 separate players, originally walking into that Viper Spit and spraying through the tube, I was concerned. Oh yeah, you could have played with the lack of information, but instead you give yourself away and somehow you still swing for the first kill. Killing the Viper drops the Viper's pit, and both players sitting right next to each other weren't expecting it. You run out of ammo, you switch to the sniper. I was concerned. 1v1 with the sniper, never a good idea. And yet you still hit the follow-up shot onto your doppelganger of Bread. Or, I believe it was Vash. But regardless, it's Mallard Creek finally having their streak broken, but it took the entirety of the half to do it. They win the first 2 rounds, and then 5 rounds consecutive. Almost would have been 6. It would have been 8-4 with 6 straight to close out the half. Oh, and Sir Disco's disconnected. I smell Match Medic and having to reset this round.
Yeah, we'll see if that is what exactly happens. Oh, so Disco reconnected, though, so hey, if they move, then we'll be okay. But nonetheless, though, rough situation for them. Gets back into the game. We'll see how things progress here. Nonetheless, though, it is a pistol round, so if there is going to be a round that you have to disconnect on, that'd be the one to do it.
They are rotating over. and they've already picked up an opening kill, so losing that Sage for the first 20 seconds has mostly been negated. Kimchi, nice shot onto Power, and it's all 3 players sitting inside of showers. This drone is free. The Trailblazer will find nobody in mid, and they know everybody's sitting in showers. This is a perfect scenario. Dream for EastMac.
Oh, 2? Can they get 3? Good game looking for, and they are able to get it at the end, clearing out the competition of Mallard Creek 2 rounds in a row. First pistol round we've seen them win as well in this series. Potential for a comeback? Maybe, but we can't call it that yet until they get at least one more round.
Yeah, arguably, this comeback is also fairly short-lived, all things considered, only being down a couple rounds, but they were having massive problems. I was saying, as soon as they pick up rifles, they're doing perfectly fine.
Although one defuse.
Yeah, they just stopped doing perfectly fine. You can see at the top of in the scoreboard sign in the middle, of the 5 rounds won by Mallard Creek in a row, 4 of them were defuses. The one in the middle is the via kills. So EastMac, just about every round, had the opportunity to get on the site, play the objective, and yet still planting the spike, I think 6 times in the half and only winning 2 of them, statistically improbable to say the very least.
It was unfounded that we would have expected that would happen, especially after a timeout. We'd say, okay, maybe a couple rounds here and there, but they just completely collapsed after that. They had the momentum. The timeout did work, got in their heads, and maybe they were a bit overconfident after that. So EastMac looking to tie up the round, see if they can eventually send it on to an overtime situation, or not even have to if they continue winning here on out. Only a best of 1, which means a couple more rounds to go to get that victory, but it's a long and arduous journey from what we've seen so far.
It also seems like Mallard Creek are leaving their options much better open than EastMac was. The Jet has already flanked in through showers. This is a problem. First found. Bulldog finds 3 on 3-round burst. Good game, cannot get out alive, but that's more than fine. 3 for 1 trade you'll take every day of the week.
Maybe should have expected another player would be there, but was reloading and looking the other direction for some reason. As this, again, another reload comes through and does not do well for them. 3-on-1 situation, though. The spike is in the clutches of JLS. They have to quickly move to the B side to try and get it down. At this point in time, shots come through, and no time really remaining for them as the teleporter wins the round.
Yeah, so they had 5 HP and about 6 seconds left anyway. Even if they wanted to plant the spike at that point, they physically did not have the ability to do so, whether it was via the HP or the time restrictions. And it's back-to-back now for EastMac, 3 in a row if you go back to the first half. And more importantly, the ability to finally solidify a round victory. That one, not clean as ever. You lose 2 Bulldogs in that conversation. But the only reason you lost them was because you were finding other kills in the process. If you're losing rifles because of trades, you're perfectly fine with that being the case. It does, however, create an issue into this, third round of the half. I talked about this in the first half, where you don't have as full of weaponry into your bonus round. That's the case here. EastMac would like better weaponry, but they don't have it.
No one's really looking where the entire team of Mallard Creek is coming from at this point in time, and they probably could have easily gotten a pick here and there, so awkward positioning. MXID is going to counter them on that, specifically Scarlett Johansson in a bad spot here too. Wall comes forward, and Jayla just patiently waits for that to happen.
But
interesting.
They either had packet loss or disconnected again. Keep your eye on all chat at the bottom left, because there's no way that Sir Disco just sat there looking at them through a smoke. I'm pretty sure they were caught off guard by network issues. Unfortunate to say the very least. Damn Anxiety, nice kill and a good game. That should spell the end of the round. Mech Ultra 1 versus 4, only on about 7, 8, 9 HP. Spelled the end of them, and Mallard Creek break the streak after just 3.
And it's not a comeback based on what we've seen from those 3 rounds, especially that last one too. Mallard Creek, once they got the rifles in their hands and a good strategy and just bad positioning from EastMac on that play. I mean, I called it as there was nobody looking from the direction that their opponents were all situating up around the B site. So odd spot to be in. Bad positioning led to a bad round for EastMac, but a great initiation play from Mallard Creek to get that victory.
Now EastMac, at this point, having only 2 players towards the A side. Good game is aggressive in showers. This is what I was talking about the first half, not giving the space away. The problem is if you get caught out here and can't do anything about it, way to avoid the flash. Needs an opening kill though. As soon as they miss it, they'll just run away, try and save their life, and it seems like they'll be able to, just narrowly at that.
Oof. I know that everyone is basically right there, seeing if their teammates can back them up in any position. Some smokes come out, but the rotation is going to be activated the other direction. But look at the bottom of the map, the Sky in good position to try and take down one. Kimchi does get one, and is going to run back towards that B site to get ready. See if they can flash anyone else who might be flanking in a different direction. But Mallard Creek now taking their sweet time to get all the way to that B site.
Right here.
It seems like a small conga line
It
going through
does.
the small connector. I don't know what Mallard Creek are waiting for, though. The problem is with taking this much time is you've already pressured over towards A. The guess here for eSmec, and the correct one at that, is that you'd rotate over to B. And with that guiding light, it's basically guaranteed. Already 3 players here, and a decent bit of utility still remains for them, including a wall for Hookah, should it be required. This can very well be a problem for Mallard Creek, because they already have that man disadvantage.
They do. One player down, though. So Disco taking... Bread always looking really good. Kimchi, nice. The wall comes up as well, so good. There goes down the time, and there goes down the players. And can the ace be coming out from Kimchi? Are they going to give it to them? No, it doesn't look like it. They're going to back off on the play. And I feel like that's wise. Save as best you can and go ahead into the next round. Still tied between these two teams. Not a must-win for eSmec, but a confident victory, though.
And an important victory for them to pick up. Kimchi finding 4 kills in that round really solidifies things a little bit better. And more importantly, Mallard Creek just did not have that same patience that they needed.
Must be another timeout.
Stages of taking I. I gotta say it. At the end of the day, it is a problem developing when you can't find that early pick and you overcommit to do so. And in doing so, you end up giving away the opening pick. That's a problem that needs to be remedied soon for Mallard Creek because you just had to take out good game there, and as soon as you realize, oh, we don't have a free kill, let's disengage, try and play for something else. Because you put 5 player showers, and you lost a player, and we're like, hey, let's slowly walk over to B. Like, do like taxes in the meantime. They were walking slow enough to be able to watch a video without, screeching.
They really were. They're on TikTok just watching some highlights from some of the other matches, but still... We'll see once we get back from this timeout exactly what the game plan is for eSmec to secure the rest of these rounds, or Mallard Creek specifically on what they can do to stop the comeback that has been activated by the other team. It's still tied up 8-8. It's still a chance for either team to still win it out before we get to an overtime situation. But I don't know who I favor on this one. What about you, Time to Light?
I gotta say, if eSmec can discount their mistakes post-plant because they're now the team retaking rather than the team taking and holding, I think they're in a much better scenario. I think their defensive side should be better. There have to be improvements, though. They're still not as confident on the defensive side as I'd like. Speaking of other streams, as you talked about before our timeout, Research Triangle's playing NC Virtual Academy over on our A stream. You can go to YouTube or twitch.tv/VESLGG if you want to check that one out. Or if you want to check out Good Game, find a casual 2-piece because nobody clears the corners. There's one, there's 2. And eSpec already have that 2-player advantage. Good Game can get out alive, and all is right with the world.
Good game is basically what this round is at that point. But as I say that, Anxiety somehow able to take them down. Trades going back and forth, and it's a 3-on-2 situation. Completely trained around. Showstopper. See if they can use it here. Not going to connect with anyone, but they did get the spike for that. So they're going to go back towards the B site. And if I was eSmec, I would kind of know that that's the potential plan. Or maybe they're trying to fake out that they're going to the B site instead. Now, are they?
Faking the fake.
Faking the fake. They're faking everything. They're just waiting for somebody to be in their sight line so that they can at least get a kill. And that's exactly what they do. 3 kills for Anxiety. Kimchi, not the best spot either. Almost 4. Backed off, though. All the way to the B site now.
The Sage running the wrong way. They were the correct spot. Well, they weren't. And then they became the correct spot. And then as soon as they start running the other direction, they're like, wait, why am I over here? No one's here. Omen and Sage are now having a committee meeting inside of Vents and have to run their way back over to B. 2v2, post-plant scenario. That's the one real mistake we were worried about for eSmec. It is strategic decision-making mid-rounds. It's come back to bite them. Anxiety is already tucked into elbow and may be able to take out the Sage should they overswing this without their situational awareness on the cards.
It was also kind of interesting, too, because eSmec took that time to go down towards Cubby and wait and see if anyone was in position to take a pot shot at them, get a kill, and even the odds for them. Now we see Sir Disco clutch up against Amex Addy, who was doing really well for their team, had 3 kills to their name throughout this. 2-1 situation though. And they get the wall up as well. Doesn't matter with that, but oh no, they completely missed, and that is going to be a clutch for Bread, of course, to get the victory for the side of Mallard Creek here.
That's another mistake for East Mech. 1 round, 2 definitive mistakes. They give away the B site for free, and then they take the 2v1 disjointed from one another. It's a round that could have been significantly better. Would have been significantly better should that Sage have stayed where they were. But Mallard Creek take full advantage and will retake that lead. Albeit a close game, probably one of our closest since day 1, it seems. And I gotta say, East Mech's still very much a leg in this race, or a horse in this race. Oh, okay, well, they're missing Mike Ultra, so maybe not a horse in this race.
Well, we'll be getting that reset real quick. Nonetheless, though, hopefully they can get back into the lobby. We don't have any more 4v5 situations. We didn't say it today, but you know, I have to say it now because it could be a potential situation if that player can't reconnect, and that would just be so unfortunate towards the end of this game with how close it's been. As you mentioned, it is the closest game we have had in a while, especially since that first match we started off, and it hasn't been as close since then. I mean, there's been teams who have kept it close into the half, but not after the half. Usually that's where one team would get the lead in such a stellar fashion that the other team just couldn't do anything about it. We haven't seen that so far. It's been pretty back and forth, but we talked about East Mech. That is a team to look out for to see what they can do to clean up their decision making. That's the issue. It's not the gunplay. It's not the way that they're able to take out the other team. It's their positioning, excuse me, and how they retake these sites, or even figure out if they want to go to B on the defensive half. And it's been a struggle for them. And based on that alone, I would definitely favor Mallard Creek to take this victory.
I think the closest game we have had since our 14-12 first series of the week was our first series of the following day, which ended 13-7 with Green Hope C beating Wake Leadership. So we started off extremely well, but since then, some of these games have just been generally one-sided. And I mean, Myers Park winning a 13-1 game. We saw a couple 13-0s. We saw 13-1, 13-2 as well. East Mech winning their game 13-0 against Hopewell. That team now having some difficulties, surprisingly enough. I thought they were the more favored team. Not really the case.
Well, we'll have to see. I mean, they are the team that we've seen before is the big thing. But that's not always necessary for a team to get a victory. I mean, technically, sometimes we've seen that happen throughout the bracket stage so far. But we saw 2 really good teams face off against each other yesterday. And then at the end of it, it was kind of a stomp in one direction, whereas 13-4 for Green Hope against Holly Springs. And Holly Springs, we saw do really good in 2 matches before. So you never know until you actually get into that best of 1, how the teams are feeling, what the comp is looking like, and any other variable that is out there with Valorant.
So I lied. The closest game we've had since was Garinger versus West Charlotte. It was our last game of
That's true. Yeah.
Which was it was 7-5 at the half for Garinger.
That was a good one.
But it ended up finishing 13-8 in favor of Garinger. Or 13-9. I just clicked off of it, but it was still a fairly close game. It was 13-8. Here, 9-8 will be either tied for or the closest game we've had all week. It is very narrowly in the favor of, again, the team that didn't look great from the first 4, 5, 6 rounds, and then had a return to form that I didn't even expect.
I was so confused what that audio cue was because I just heard something in my left ear and it was the turret the whole time. But here comes all the shots from Kimchi, getting a 2-piece and trading themselves. I feel like that is well worth it, especially based on the players that they were able to take down. So just go alone on the B side.
They could have just pushed this after that couple of frags that go against them. They didn't know it though, and that's the problem. We of course are omniscient. We know everything. But
of course.
Honestly, it's one of those, you know, oh, I can't believe they made this mistake. They should have gone there. But I always say that while knowing where the other team is. And it's like, well, with their information, it's understandable they don't. Ooh, gun barrel seen. J-Lo, very lucky to stay alive. Ironically enough, the gun barrel is what saved them. If they didn't show that first, they certainly would have been 1 tap down.
Yeah.
Completely backing off on the play now, at least to get into a better position.
Yeah.
So Turret did notice someone. Oh no, they are clearing it, and Good Game will take them down a peg there too.
30 seconds left.
4-on-2 situation. Not the best spot to be in, and the full rotation around comes out from Scarlett Johansson. They're having a good time. Waiting to see if they can take down this Raze at the end of it. But they went through the teleporter all the way to the A site, so they're going to have to make a far rotation. Gives enough time for the spike plant here.
It is a 1v4. It is a spike plant. As soon as it goes down, they will take the teleporter. 2 of them will, as a matter of fact. So 1 A mid, 1 CT, maybe heaven,
Oh, no.
and the other 2 in through showers. It is the pincer maneuver of all time. MXID will have to be fighting with their demons and 4 players around them. This one, we'll say not so likely. As soon as they swing, maybe dead from behind. No, they find it first.
Okay.
They still have to spray through the wall. They
That's
miss. Oh my gosh, no.
Oh, so close. Almost had enough. We're able to escape at the end of it too, and as you mentioned, save the gun. So good round there. Didn't get the win, but honestly, if that's what they were able to get away with and still have the spike plant down, that's a huge boon for their team.
Yeah, it's good enough. You're looking at that and saying, oh, why did they plant the cubby? The goal there is bait the opposing team to think you're somewhere else. The problem is, when you're coming from the teleporter, and the opposing team inevitably will as well, they're going to clear showers first. So the original thought was, oh, if they rotate through CT, they'll have to clear showers and fully worry about it. Not if they rotate through showers. That's the one problem with that idea. It was a valiant effort, but still a round back for eSmec, and a round in which they will tie us up once more. This is officially the closest game we've had all week since game number 1.
That's crazy to think about. This is our 3rd to last game. This is only the first game of the night too, and it's been a really stellar showing. I mean, I'm having a good time since the last couple of matches we have had. Have been, I wouldn't say snoozers, but it's been dominant performances after dominant performance after dominant performance, 2 days in a row. So it's nice to have a bit of a change up here. Shout out to the production crew for picking this match for us, but also to the players who've been putting on a show on both sides, even with mistakes here and there. It's not perfect Valorant, but it's a good time nonetheless. And Kimchi and Scarlett Johansson looking good. This one comes out, but it's not going to get the finish. Instead, good game with the clear outs. And there goes everyone in quick succession. Good game with 2. And a good round yet again for the defenders. 2 in a row for them.
It was a very weird interaction as well. For some reason, Jayla had their knife out while holding the teleporter and then got caught out. I think what they were doing was putting down the alarm bot. The issue was the alarm bot didn't go off immediately. And instead, as soon as it did go off, Jayla died. And Killjoy's utility is no longer viable if she's dead, with exception to her lockdown and her nanoswarms. So the alarm bot just kind of disabled itself midway through trying to attack somebody. Kind of funny to watch, but it was indeed disabled at the end of the day. And eSmec take full advantage. Good game, finds a nice 2-piece, and was not vulnerable to the alarm bot going off next to them. It seems like showers is the call here for Mallard Creek, maybe even an ace split, but 4 players now rotating that showers direction. Scarlett Johansson has just seen 2 of them.
That's not good for the side of Mallard Creek, but they're going to push the issue either way. Know that they know they're there. Backing off on this one. Still have someone covering the retreat too, so that they won't have to worry too much about Cubby. But as I say that though, maybe they should have worried a little bit more. Bash taken down completely. Haven't even really mentioned them too much on the side of Mallard Creek. Been looking for some things here and there, but they haven't been getting too much vision. Haven't really gotten much ultimate to work with either. But speaking of ultimates, everyone in Mallard Creek has one available.
And Viper's Pit
Trying
dangerous.
to bait it out.
My favorite thing is when people combine the Viper's Pit with the Seekers, because it basically gives you a direct line of where your Seekers are heading through the smoke is where the opposing team is. But Scarlett Johansson forward in showers only finds 1, and now Showstopper prepped here for MXID. The problem is they don't have the information, and Showstopper to the back, nobody's here. It is a game of hide and go seek, and MXID's losing it. And I think Lamps, it was covered, but no, they take the teleporter to B to stay alive. What a play.
I can't believe they were able to do that in time, but still, Sir Disco looking for something and distracted well enough for a good game to get the snipe. 200 IQ play by the defenders and Sir Disco.
2 seconds.
Only 1 player remaining here. As you mentioned, just a couple seconds. They got to get on the defuse here. Is there enough time though?
Oh, yeah. I was talking about a few seconds for the poison cloud. Because on the bottom bar, the Viper was running out of that poison cloud. And Resurrection prepped here. I actually don't hate a Resurrection to keep an extra weapon. You don't always see it, but it is viable. You might as well use it before you lose it. But instead, Sir Disco will keep it. They understand a lot of these rounds have indeed been close, and they can't afford to even give away maybe an extra player down the line. Saving
they may be 2 rounds away from winning, but yeah, as you mentioned, even that is not going to be as beneficial as bringing another player back into the fight in one of these more close rounds. Just playing some Minecraft.
I was trying to figure out. It sounds like you're playing Fortnite and breaking metal. That's what that sounds
too,
like.
yeah. Well, I mean, it could be Lego Fortnite
I don't play Fortnite. I don't know what you're talking about, chat.
Oh, man. Either way, though, talking about Valorant here. eSmec they've been looking a lot more confident these last few rounds. I mean, this has been a huge momentum shift for them, and it hasn't really been mistakes from the other side. It's just been good play all around and some outplays by East Mech. Some shots coming here from Sir Disco just to prevent the push forward through that hookah area. And they got some damage pings onto Vesh as well, so...
I like that play combined between Sir Disco and Scarlett Johansson. What they do is they force Scarlett Johansson to shoot the recon bolt behind them, while the other team thinks, oh, Sir Disco just did it, we just looked at them. Maybe we'll swing this and have a kill. They would have, should Sir Disco turn around, but it doesn't matter. Good Game finds 2 with the Operator, wants to swing for a 3rd, and will have the opportunity, and MXID just done for, as East Mech have 3 consecutive opportunities to close out this best of 1. 12-9 on the cards. They've gone, what, 4 straight now?
Yeah, they have. Great looks from them. The tech pause after getting Sir Disco's internet squared away. And ping not really the best for them, but they've been doing pretty well for the most part. I mean, looking at the spread, good game, 26 kills to 14. Looking really good there for their team, especially with this sniper operating all over the A and B site to try and take down the hopes and dreams of Mallard Creek of making it to those regionals in January. Kimchi, again, no information on the B site, so they got to know that there's somebody at A. And Power takes down Scarlett Johansson. They're interesting.
You should run.
Good Game was watching this. Scarlett Johansson just overswings. Nice kill from Good Game. There's a refrag. Wait for a second, though. They are on the outside of that radius of this very important lockdown. First shock bolt misses. Second one ends up hitting U-Haul. And a 3rd from Good Game. They do get detained. No. So does a teammate. This could be a problem.
Overzealous, but it doesn't matter whatsoever. They were able to take down enough players where the rest of their teammates could back them up and get the victory at the end of the day. 13-9, 5 rounds in a row. We talked about what East Mech needed to do was to be more confident, make less mistakes defensively, but also just the way that they were planning those retakes. And well, they prevented any take at all by the other side those last few rounds, only dropping a player each time. 4 rounds actually in a row now I'm looking at it. So the confidence that we saw earlier from them, that they were able to do that after the first 2 rounds from Mallard Creek, is really what set the stage for them to eventually take the victory towards the end. Had to fix the connection issues with that tech pause. They got back into things, and there's a whole different story from then on out.
Yeah, it's still a victory for East Mech. A little bit of a fall from grace compared to the game against Hopewell, but I mean, in comparison, I was looking at the scoreboard. Good Game, the 25+ kills, they had a much worse KD. Instead of it being like 5.0, it was 2.0. Oh my gosh, how terrible.
Oh man.
Kimchi, instead of going technically 16-0 with a near infinite or undefined KD, they end up going somewhere in the neighborhood of 21, 22, and 12. Again, similar conversation. Oh my gosh, I can't believe they didn't have a 16.0 KD. What a shame.
How dare they?
We did actually have the conversation. We were wondering who had the highest KD. We saw a player go, I think it was 28-2 or 28-3,
something like that. Yeah,
24-3. They had an 8.0 KD. Turns out not the best in terms of kill death ratio. Very surprising in that conversation, but a close game until just a couple streaks at the end of the day, winning 4 straight rounds. It was 5 of 6, and if you really want to get into it, it was 8 of 10 with 9 of them, or actually 9 of 11 with 10 of them being in the second half. That is a crazy stat to close for East Mech, and an important one because they made very few mistakes on their defensive side. That'll help them when they get to LAN.
Well, based on their top fragger, you gotta say that this was a good game from East Mech. I had to use that at one point, I'm sorry. But we will see them in the potential regionals if that was their last match. If not, I believe that was just one to make it to their final match that will be played this weekend based on scheduling. Nonetheless, though, we have 2 more mechs to go through. North Mech versus Garinger, then West Mech versus Ardrey Cal A. We're going to be taking our first break of the evening. We'll be back at 7 p.m. One match down, 2 to go for the final stream of competition, but not the final day. There's still a couple more days of action for those high schoolers qualifying for the regionals this week. I'm Vaudible. We've got Time to Light here yet again, eating some delicious food, and we're about to eat really well when we have this match ahead of us. It's going to be on split this time, so no more bind, at least for now. It's North Mech versus Garinger. We saw Garinger before. We talked about how that matchup went, but why don't you remind us, TTL, on exactly how Garinger fared in the previous steps of the competition?
The TLDRs, it was a fairly close game. We talked about this towards the end of our previous game. Until about 15 minutes ago, it was our closest game since game number 1 of the week. But it was fairly close. It started 7-5 in the first half. After that, it seemed like Garinger was kind of running away with things. They ended up winning 13-8. But the thing that I'm really concerned about for them is, yes, it wasn't a bracket stage match. The problem, they really had 1 or 2 players stepping up. Lino went 39-15.
Woo.
I will say that again. Lino went 39-15 in a 21-round game. And the next closest player was Ravens at 16-12. Not another member on the team went positive in a game they won by 5 rounds. That's my main problem for them. If Arisu and Ryan Gosling found a couple more kills in a couple rounds, they combined.
That's right, the Ryan Gosling player after Scarlett Johansson. I love it.
Yeah, we've had a few actors/actresses in our midst today, or through our week, I suppose. But my main concern is if it's another singular player stepping up, I don't think they're gonna get by the mech squad.
Well, it could be 2 wins for Mech, 0 wins for anyone against the Mech squads that are out there, and that would be interesting to see. But we haven't seen North Mech, so we don't know exactly what to expect, at least on the B stream.
Yeah.
Might have been playing on the A stream or the multi-stream itself, but still excited for this matchup. Don't know exactly which side either of these teams will start on, but we will be getting into the match as quickly as we can for that one. And hey, that was the best and closest match we saw before. Back then, and now we get to see exactly how these 2 teams in North Mech, it looks like, are going to be on the defending side this go around versus Garinger.
Yeah, and North Mech has 2 separate teams. There's North Mecklenburg on our sheet, and then North Mech B on our sheet as well. From the looks of things, North Mecklenburg did better against both West Mech and Rocky River, so keep an eye on them coming to this game. We also have, I believe it's West Mech next, with South Mech being the only team we do not see on the day. That's a shame. But we have already seen South Mech, so not the end.
So we'll complete the Mech Exodia afterwards. We've seen South Mech, we saw East Mech twice, and I guess those are the 2 arms. And then we have North Mech here and West Mech after that.
We do see 2 teams from the same group today, though. North and West Mech, both of them taking on Rocky River. I believe North Mech beat both West and Rocky. West lost to North and then beat Rocky as well. That's how they're both here. They both had bracket stage games as well. The main problem I'm seeing here is North Mech played Mallard Creek, who we just saw, their B team, in Pool 2. Actually, I may be looking at a different... Yeah, this is totally not Valorant. Just forget the words I just said.
How dare.
I'm looking at the wrong bracket.
I mean, that's the cool thing about this, though, that VESL is putting on these esports leagues for these different teams to compete through different titles. I mean, we started with Fortnite. Then we went on to, I think it was Overwatch, that's right. And then we had Madden, Rocket League, Smash for Ultimate. Then now we have Valorant. And then next week, the final regional competition will be for Modern Warfare 3, which is going to be a good time. And CDL just started back up, so getting some good old Call of Duty action out there. But hey, this one will be on Twitch as well, so it'll be nice.
Yeah, I'm waiting for CDL tonight. I'm gonna watch back some of the games because I know Call of Duty here is going to go in next week, and I want to get a nice hesitant prep in before our game. We have seen Garinger before. It is Lena, Ravens, Rishi, and Rocket Randy. I believe Rocket Randy is a new player. They are in for Dead Killer 5779. Now, for some context, the last time Garinger played, they played on Bind. Their composition was Lena on Raze. Ravens brought the Fade. Dead Killer, who is not here and has been subbed out for Rocket Randy, was on the Gecko. That'll be switched out for the Omen. Rishi was on the Brimstone, and was on the Sage. It seems like the Sage is the only agent kept over between Bind and now Split.
An ISO is a big thing to notice too. That's the first time we have seen believe the newest agent that has been picked so far this week on the B stream. This is the first time for Rishi.
And Rishi last time, again, they played the Brimstone. They're now going on to a double duelist instead of what was their double initiator. And Rocket Randy will bring over the Brimstone again, so it will be kept in that conversation. But the fact is, you're subbing on a player, you're switching over roles, Rishi going from controller onto duelist, Raven's keeping over
Choose
the
your agent.
initiator role. It is still going on that Sentinel, but it's Sage, so it's only kind of a Sentinel. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this.
It's gonna be a match. Oh,
Especially
we might have 2 ISOs.
We do.
Oh,
no, we
Clownfish.
don't. Clownfish.
No, we got baited.
That's so
How dare they? But everyone locking in with the agents that they had selected for North Mech ahead of time. Now we'll have to see where things can go from here on out. But this is my first time seeing ISO in a match, so I'm excited to see exactly how they play and how Rishi performs for their team specifically. Who was the top fragger last time that we saw Garinger?
Top fragger last time was Lena. Went 39 and 15.
Right.
For all of you non-mathematicians or people who don't have a calendar or calculator, not calendar in front of you, that's a 2.6 KD. Dead even. 2.6 KD. Which is dangerous, to say the absolute very least. That's scary.
Very scary. Well, we'll see how these phases progress on the split map between these 2 teams. ISO, I'm really curious if anyone is going to take them out once that kill contract ultimate comes through, and how we'll be able to spectate that, because I've heard that's like the most annoying for observers to try and figure out.
So the way the kill contract works is it creates a new dimension under the map. There's a specific spot for it, and if you're playing Aster, you can actually set up utility on the kill contract dimension.
What?
Yeah, it's a thing, because you hop in the astral form, you can go through walls and through the floor.
That's true.
If
yeah.
you know where it is beforehand, you can actually set up stars down there. May happen down the line. We don't see an Aster here though, so it's not really gonna matter. Do they clear the corner? Gamer Girl is stuck in the corner, wants to kill. We'll find one at a second as well.
One great 2-piece from Gamer Girl. Looking for another after that though.
Here.
Not really anyone biting just yet, and Garinger quickly into this one, down by those 2 players. They do have the spike still, so trying to see if they want to initiate onto the site just yet, but the shot's coming through. I don't know what Rishi's plan was there.
Spike down A.
Yeah,
They
falling
just jumped into their death.
Standing.
What? Ravens, no help with utility, just isolated in towards heaven, isn't watching the backside of CT. They had the wall up towards the ropes, but it really didn't matter. No, it is, 1 versus 4, and to say the very least here, Audible, it is going to be difficult.
I feel like we made a joke like that the last time we saw this player, but this
Don't
is no
tell
joking
them.
matter for them, because there's no laughing matter though, because it's a 1v4 situation. This has just been a very odd start for Garinger. I mean, maybe they're just shaking off the rust and getting ready to wake up a little bit, even though it's 7:16 p.m. here on the East Coast for North Carolina. And well, 4 players up and all players down for Garinger. North Mech, confident victory. And not really too much to note for North Mech. I mean, Gamer Girl started off strong with those first 2 kills, everyone else getting a kill apiece, and Garinger, only 1 player able to really do much, and it wasn't too much to speak of. Is Rishi, most odd spot was them just jumping and right into the fire of 2 players and not even shooting.
The last time North Mech played on stream was on Wednesday, or the last time I could find them playing on stream. They played on the quad box yesterday, but they played West Mech. It was a 5v3 with West Mech having 3 players. That was the 5v3 we were talking about in the mainstream a couple days ago. And they won 13-2 on Ascent.
Ooh.
I feel like that scoreline could very well be a
Oh, there's
possibility
an AFK
here.
player
And
too.
we-
No.
AFK Brim, which is a problem. Well, we have a second, because I don't think Garinger's going to hold W in any direction. I wanted to bring up their agent composition there, which is extremely similar to what it is now. 0 Fatalities was on the Phoenix, as they are right now. What a Bot was on the Cypher. I believe there is still the Cypher. I don't know if it's What a Bot back on that same role. Soulbound, same Omen selection. Gamer Girl, same Sky selection. The only change is G333 playing from the Killjoy now onto a different Sentinel of Chamber. And I don't even consider Chamber a Sentinel. He's basically a pseudo-duelist, but I don't care what anybody says. Soulbound, by the way, another kill. That went through the smoke. This is developing into an issue for Garinger, but on the bright side,
And
they're
they
taking a
disconnected.
little while. Yeah, there's the full disconnect if they weren't already.
Luckily, the spike wasn't on that player, but as I say that, yeah, not going to work out for Garinger whatsoever. So I don't know if they know. Well, they probably saw the outshot that the player disconnected.
30
So
seconds.
Don't
they'll-
think it goes to the team.
oh, it doesn't go to the teams. Dang. Well,
No, it only goes to us.
we'll be
players
going
of
to
the
a
same
tech
team.
pause after this round, so really just
Yeah.
20 seconds left to see if they will take that player down or if they're just going to take their time. And they know that they don't need to overextend themselves if that player was still in and they still don't know that they're
10
there, but they're
seconds
checking the
left.
spawn. It's been a lot of time. There's been no movement, no sound cues from anywhere. The chamber is probably going to be looking for that final kill, and they're like, oh, yep, they are dead. There goes the flawless. I mean, I feel like this flawless would have happened even if that player was still out there, because even with the disconnect in this round, the first round didn't really look as confident from the side of Garinger. So Garinger really having to pick up the pace, hopefully get that player back in as best they can. But when you're dealing with tech issues, it's hard to like fully coordinate too, because you're like, oh, what's going on? Why isn't this person talking? Why aren't they doing something? And well, that's what we saw happen there. And it's just been confidence from North Mech, and they just need to keep that going.
Yeah, I'm also concerned for this team going down the line because they've already convincingly lost the pistol. They didn't have a great second round with or without the Brimstone being connected. But the problem I'm going to see develop is if they continue to have to worry about the Brimstone's connection issues. If you lose connection in the middle or beginning of the round, if it's the round itself going, you cannot like pause the game. However, if you lose connection during the buy phase, even if the round starts, our admins will roll things back, we'll get things back underway like they originally were. And if you're in the middle of the round, you always have to worry, oh, is our Brimstone going to disconnect? Are we going to lose a player? Are we going to lose our controller who has the smokes we need to get onto the site? That's a problem they cannot really think about all that much. I believe the Brimstone's back, everybody's back underway. Apologies for the very short technical break. Shout out admins and the players for getting back into the game, but we should be okay. And North Mech, here's the round where they're going to have the most difficulty in the foreseeable future. They do, however, have the rendezvous for Clownfish, so should they need to get out of dodge, look at that. They just snap their fingers and they're away.
Nice to see from Clownfish. See what Rishi can do this time. Was in an odd spot before, but now everyone is pushing onto the site, and they do get that first entry frag on to Gamer Girl, who was a thorn in their side at the start. But as I say, that Clownfish with a two-piece and runs away with it, gets away with murder, essentially there, and Soulbound with one. Finally, they take down a player. 2v2 situation somehow after that.
It's over.
One more remains. Actually. Ravens in a bad spot. Flash missed. There is going to be one kill. Gets the reload. Would have been a perfect time to push if you could have heard that happening, but doesn't matter. G333 able to take that one and get the defuse. Close game. Best we have seen from Garinger so far, but still not enough.
And a little overzealous for North Mech. They had so many opportunities to come back with a lot more. So they lose the opening pick onto Gamer Girl. You have a 4v5. As soon as Clownfish finds 2 kills there, you're back into a 4v3, and you have the player advantage. The one problem that they ran into was overcommitments without utility, and not having the greatest of scenarios to try and find those kills. You still have a lot of environment in your favor. If you're on that site itself, you have the wall on your side protecting you from screens. You have the main wall kind of in the middle of the site. I don't really know what we call it. We call it the default box when I used to play. But it's so weird when you're trying to take those fights and you have the player advantage, but you're not doing so together. That could have been a lot worse for North Mech. The fact they win the round is a massive help, and Garinger really just can't fully invest here. You're still going to see them buy. It should be rifles for 3 or 4 players, but you can see it's a pistol for it is. Not the greatest of scenarios to say the very least.
Now we got to see how things progress for Garinger. All rallied around the A site, which I feel like at this point might as well just change things up and go to the B site. The A site has not worked out for them whatsoever. Rishi does push forward though, and caught off guard, not checking those corners for Rishi, unfortunately. Soulbound looking for something. Gamer Girl, a nice kill onto Lena. We talked about Lena, how they were doing so well for their team before, but everyone just dissected, and Soulbound 3 kills to their name.
Soulbound very recently could have found 5 there if the team let them do so. But that's a really good round from North Mech, either flawless or very close to it. And North Mech, again, not having issues winning those opening fights. I'll throw it back to what I talked about earlier. Maybe a little bit of a misnomer, but they won 13-0, or 13-2 when they played Ascent against West Mech. The only conversation there is, remember, it was a 5v3 throughout the entirety of the game, so they basically had 2 opening picks every single round. But it's still like nothing to scoff at. You're winning a game cleanly. The only rounds they lost, by the way, were the pistol round of the second half and the conversion round of the second half. They won a first half 12-0. So it's North Mech having the exact same agent composition, minus a Killjoy, plus a chamber. A different map, but still as confident, and it's working for them. Up 4-0 already.
Soulbound just taking their time here too. Curious on exactly where they're planning to go. Nonetheless, split working out really well for North Mech. 0 fatalities. First time I've really seen their name in the feed, and they get 2. Fatality themselves, but Clownfish cleans things up. Still only 1 player really going down every single time, except that 3rd round for North Mech, and there's 2 players that remain. Clownfish looking for it, and they're able to get it. Rishi not moving while spraying out of the smoke is not the best idea.
You know, one thing I don't know is whether the Spectre actually gives your position away. Because visually it looks like there were tracers coming out of the gun, but usually in games, not only in Valorant, but in Counter-Strike, you have tracers removed if you have a suppressed weapon. I don't know if the Spectre is particularly suppressed or not. It's a weird mechanic, I don't know. Interactions are weird depending on the specific weapons, but regardless, it's a kill based off of the tracers, it seems. No spike as well, it's sitting B heaven. You're basically looking at an impossible 1v4, save whatever gun you have, and if I remember correctly, the Sage walked into this round with just a pistol. Maybe a Spectre?
10 seconds left.
Upgraded SMG? I don't know what they have.
They have something.
Oh, no, that was awesome.
Either way, though, not enough time for the Sage to do anything here, and they still get taken out. Wow.
Why?
That's gotta hurt.
And it was
No
a
reason
Vandal.
for
Why,
that.
why don't you save a Vandal? Okay, bro. That one's questionable to me. You're already losing the round. Might as well tuck yourself into a corner for the last 7 seconds, plus the 3 or 4 seconds after the round ends. Could have been a rifle here, but for Garinger, they have 4 ultimates. They're very close to their resurrection as well. On the bright side, the death will bring them 1 closer to the resurrection. On the downside, they lost a rifle for it. They can still buy, though. It would have been nice to be able to buy Ravens rather than just buy yourself.
I'm so curious what Garinger really need to do to change things around. I mean, finally they're going to the B site. They have just 1 player that's waiting for them there. See what Rishi can do here again themselves, and getting some vision, which is good, as you mentioned. The wall does go up, so it does open up so much space for them, and the Cypher on the B site by themselves is able to get all the information that everyone would need in that scenario to call the rest of the Wolves back into that situation. G333 somehow dodging the Hellfire, but in a bad spot themselves, hoping that their teammates will back them up as they do just that.
Ooh. And the From the Shadows used on the flank. Watch out for B main. It seems like the Rain is aware of it. Lina checking it. There's the kill. Lina alive at the later stage of the round, but still the swing. Clownfish finds 2. G333 with one of their own, and Lina needs to stay alive. The late dismiss will keep them, and the spike diffuse coming through. Clownfish avoids that first fight, but still has 2 separate tools to take in the 1v2.
Can they do it? We've seen them be able to pop up before, and they do get the 1 shot onto It Is. Now with their special rifle for the chance, but no, they didn't have the time. They were scoped in too far, flicked at the right moment, but too late on the trigger pull to get that kill. In the first round for Garinger, hard fought that they were able to get that victory.
I was wondering when that internal clock was going to go off, because you always think to yourself, oh, they've got to be flanking at some point, but that some point comes differently for different players. I'm surprised they popped the tour de force there, because you do not have all that much of a margin for error. I can't say I blame them for doing so. Lina, very good player. Again, went 39-15 in a 13-8 game. And yet, it's still a situation for North Mech where you could have had that round, but you get taken out of the flank, and Lina finds a couple more kills on the site itself. Important showing for the first time for Lina.
Again, going to the B site. If it ain't broke, you don't need to fix it. That's what we've seen. G33 taken down again.
Oh my gosh.
Lina with a 2-piece, finally popping off what we expected to see earlier on. And I guess that is a big thing to note, too, that the difference here. You talked about Lina being the one main player, fragging out like crazy, getting the majority of the kills in the victory we did see from Garinger, and they haven't been able to do much here, but here it is, the one-on-one situation. Clownfish able to get the victory, though, against Rishi. Rishi's just been having a tough go of it.
Gamer Girl swinging. Finds both players there. One tucked into the cubby, the other one walking around. That's Lina around the Sage Ball, but that should be about the round. I'd be very surprised if Gamer Girl goes for this. Now they'll back away. You can't really blame him for that. Garinger back-to-back rounds where Lina steps up in a massive way. I believe they entered into round number 5 or round number 6 with 1, maybe 2 total kills. Since then, they've picked up 5 or 6, and there should be somewhere in the neighborhood of 6 or 7 and 4. And maybe as soon as Lina warmed up, things will change. Will that be the case? We'll very soon find out. Will Gamer Girl find this kill? No. They're actually very lucky to be alive. Yeah, 7 and 5.
Yeah, looking at Clownfish on the other end too, 11 and 4. That is not the player you want to do a 1v1 duel when you haven't gotten a single kill for your team. But hey, it did free up some space for the rest of the players to be cleared out for North Mech, and I like that play, even though you might be sacrificing yourself in that moment. You are still taking out their number one duelist, and then you're gonna know exactly where they respawn back in. So that's exactly what happened. Clownfish taken down after Rishi was sacrificed.
Sacrifice. Seems like B's the call again. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. We said that a couple times this week. Can't really blame us. It seems to be the case. It's just W keys all around. Lina takes a significant amount of damage. They need a kill to go back up towards full HP. They're looking at their sage like, hey, you have a heal. Please use it, and they will. And then Lina dies anyway. Feels bad, man.
It's a bit of a trade, though. Rocket Randy getting the kill on to that Cypher. Rishi taken out by Gamer Girl real quick. 0 fatalities somehow saved by Soulbound on that play. Kill comes back through, and one player left, Ravens. They do get one. It was a 1v3 situation, and they are not in a good spot there either. Quick cleanup by North Mech to shut down a potential comeback from Garinger.
I've never seen somebody try to pull a Super Mario and throw a fireball at somebody. It's like 0 fatalities was just given the fire flower, which is actually what it's called. I promise I just Googled it. And
nice.
He actually still survives. Very nice coverage from behind him. I think you said it was Soulbound who found that kill. But 0 fatalities needs to go buy a lottery ticket if they're above the age of 18, because, oh my goodness, there's no way you should be alive right now. Caught out with utility, you throw it at them, it still does damage, and your teammate finds the kill. And it's a B rush again. Garinger like, we're still gonna go for it, who cares?
Alina's feeling confident after that one. Runs straight into the tripwire, though.
Wow.
That's insane.
Seems like the bait worked. You walk into both tripwires, which for some reason are stacked on top of one another. That doesn't seem all that intuitive, but hey, it's not the end of the world anyway. 0 fatalities, there's the flank. Finally, it sets in, and successfully. And now's the time for the rest of the team to start to step through. Wall up. 0 fatalities still wants to swing this. That is the flash to look, but Rishi finds our first kill of the game, and an important round.
Huge kill there, too. 3 players remaining and some ultimates up for the next round. I like the vision, and I like that they are sticking to the B site. It is working for them. The A site hasn't worked once whatsoever this round, and you gotta be, if you're North Mech, know that that's gonna be the case. So everyone being sent there now, and I guess the question is, do you change it up at this point? It's still been working even with the positioning of North Mech. I feel like this would be the round to change it.
This is where Garinger can really put the pedal to the metal. Lina finds another couple kills, went from 7 to 10 in that one. In every single round that Garinger has won, if I've done my math correctly, Lina has found a 3-piece. And has technically, albeit technically, found an opening kill here. However, the Phoenix still alive because of the run back.
Oh, they're baiting out the other side as best as they can here to make the Sky rotate around, but they aren't falling for it just yet. They know that the spike hasn't been planted, and they know that they are pushing into the area, so the Sky waiting for them to fall into their trap. But Rocket Randy takes them down, so they got to get this plant down quickly, and they are doing just that, forcing the rotation around. 5v4 situation, and I like the heads-up play. Instead of going everyone into B, they split it a little bit themselves, such as the name of the map, and they were able to get that spike planted.
Missed opportunity. Could have not only killed the top fragger in Lina, but could have taken out the ISO as well. That would have been a heck of a couple of frags. Smoke out. Lina's still tucked hell, though. This is a problem to start to create. Raven swing with a sheriff of their own. It is 1 for 1, and Soulbound, finds that refrag.
Clownfish takes down Lina too. Rocket Randy has been popping off for their team as best they can. 1v1 situation between them and Soulbound. They have the shots and they do get the finish. Rocket Randy with such a clutch maneuver. They were the one who went to the A site, split the difference, got the plant, and got 4 kills. I mean, they were the MVP of that round to me.
You know, one of the things I never understand is why people put themselves in positions where they don't have information and then they swing without a weapon in their hand, with their knife out, with utility out. If you're swinging there with a paranoia, as the smoke is falling, and I used to be like, oh, maybe you didn't know when the smoke is falling, but now there's a visual effect on the outside of it as it's going down. The question is, you don't know where they are, and yet you're still swinging like, oh yeah, they're definitely still in the site. They never move. Garinger's not a team that has been making those mistakes. And I'm saying, why expect them to make that mistake? Why expect them to sit in the exact same spot they have been when they really just haven't been making those fundamental errors? That's a prediction that definitely should have gone their way. They had a few seconds. They would have had the kill. The Omen very good at the game. They would have had the mechanical skill to win it. But you swing at the paranoia and you're like, oh, I hope this hits them before I fall. I don't know.
Who knows? Either way, still a good round win, as we'll be going back into the game now. Live into the action, onto the A site. They know that they felt good last time. Rocket Randy leading the charge this time. Nobody having really able to do much because of the smokes. Soulbound looking for something, but Rocket Randy starting with the entry frag. Feeling confidence, and they are rallying around that player, and I love to see it.
That was important. Finding the opening kill. They make sure they clear the backside of CT, the front side of screens, that real ninja position. The teams can't hold it down. Clownfish does find the return kill, but this wall is going to be a boom. They cannot walk out of this safely. Nice flash, finds one. Rishi seen, their position duly noted, as is now the neural theft, but Lina still wins the fight against Clownfish.
Drop down 2. Plenty to work with. Shots coming out though. Soulbound did manage to get one. And they get another. They're getting healed up a little bit here as well. Ooh, it is. Gets the resurrect and the 2-piece. Wow.
A net 3 kills, it seems. And not only that, but as soon as you see the resurrect go off, everybody's always distracted. Oh, a player's respawning in front of me. They're going to be susceptible to my shots for a few seconds. Let me sit here and do nothing.
That's what happened, exactly.
Then it is like, oh yeah, they're going to be sitting there doing nothing, and I swing for two kills. I don't know how they don't immediately see the resurrection go off and go, oh yeah, let's W key, because that's going to work. It would have worked, by the way. I'm not saying that sarcastically. North Mech have lost 3 straight rounds, and Garinger, what, 5 of 6?
Tie up their half, yeah.
Yeah.
This is crazy. I mean, connection issues maybe for Rocket Randy, but here we go. Gamer Girl getting sent to the gulag this time and barely winning the fight. Well, not barely. They had a better angle on it, but as I say that, every time you know their positioning, you can take them down, and that's exactly what it is does. I like the sacrifice maneuver that we're seeing from this ISO. If you're not as confident in dueling, then you just send them to the Shadow Realm, and they'll be sent right back real quick, exactly where you know they'll be.
Ravens even swinging, finds 2 kills.
Ravens.
Flank here for the Omen, 1v4 for Soulbound.
Ooh, there's
Needs
one.
some level of prayer to David. They will find 1 kill and be quickly dispatched of. Somebody was going to take him out. All 3 players had a reasonable opportunity to do it. Garinger wins 6 of 7 rounds to close out the half, and North Mech just lost everything, it seemed. As soon as Lina activated, North Mech forgot to plug in their keyboard and mouse again.
But not just Lina, though. Rocket Randy. I mean, the way that they were able to perform in that 10th round, when they swung towards the A site while the rest of their team was on B distracting, and they were able to get that entry frag onto Gamer Girl. And after that, it was just upwards from there. They got 4 kills. They could have had an ace, honestly, but one of their teammates cleaned up another player. And then, really, after that point, the one round they lost wasn't too terrible for them, so nice maneuvering from this team of Garinger back into the form that we're used to seeing from them. Bar some of the connection issues we've had, that they've had to go through some tech pauses here and there, but business as usual for the most part. But as I say that, Cloudfish with that entry on it to Lina, not where you want to start.
There's a W key on a B from mid. Trailblazer will clear everything they need, and I believe this player was seen the backside of the main pillar, but the re-aggression just not going to be there quickly enough for Garinger. They give away the site mostly. Soulbound inside of their own dark cover. Caught out by utility. They know Rishi's here. Rishi's just giving away their position for absolutely no reason. They'll activate the double tap as well. I don't know if they're safe here. Do they clear the corner? Absolutely not. Yeah, just a little damage done. That should be the round.
One enemy remaining.
That it is. 1 player left, and it is, specifically, it is. As they are the one to try and get at least a kill. We'll see if they can do it. They do get 1 on the Soulbound. That was pretty clean, but only 74 HP left, and everyone is running towards them to try and see if they can be the special player to take them down, and it will be Gamer Girl to do just that. 7-6, confident pistol round, but no pistol rounds won so far by Garinger in this game. I don't think they're worried too much about that, but it was 5 players basically remaining against 1.
Yeah, when you're in that 1v4, 1v5, you just got to say to yourself, it is what it is. You've given yourself away. Not that much of a shot at it. And North Mech, well, back-to-back pistols. Can they win back-to-back conversions? That's the real question. The fact that Garinger is still within a round after losing back-to-back pistols, they lost a conversion and bonus in the first half. They couldn't even win the first rifle round. That shows you their recoverability. They are very sustainable. At least they were on that attack. Question still remains, are they on the defense? And looking for an opening kill. They are for an opener. Somehow Ravens hits that? A Trailblazer finds a kill?
What?
What?
Rishi, please.
How low is Rishi?
I have no idea how low can you go at that point, but Gamer Girl. Gotta feel happy about that, I guess. G333 able to take down Rocket Randy, though. Clownfish finally taken down by Lena. I feel like that is the main one you want to take down a peg if you want a chance to win these rounds. But Ravens, oof, bad spot and good positioning from G333 to get 3 in a row for their team, their namesake. And 8-6, 2 rounds in a row, past the half for North Mech. But again, it's not over till you get at least one more from then. And we haven't seen much from Garinger yet, but now they at least have some weapons they can work with.
Okay, so I have this website. It's called the Valorant Fandom. It's like Valorant Wiki, but for any information you need. It's an amazing website. One thing I didn't know is that the Trailblazer does damage if it makes direct contact with somebody. I knew it concussed them. I even thought it concussed them for longer if it hit you. Apparently, it not only concusses you for longer, but it also damages you for 30 HP if it directly hits you. So, process elimination, they were 30 HP or below.
Yep.
Wow. I do not think I have ever seen a Trailblazer kill, and I've cast an alarming amount of Valorant.
I mean, that just goes to show Reese more of an inexperienced player on this Garinger squad, especially with this new agent that they're playing. I like the strategies we've seen out of them, of course, to take down at least a player using that special ability, the kill contract, and then, you know, wait for their teammates once they inevitably lose that fight to take out that player, clean things up a little bit afterwards. Make it easy for a kill, even if you can't get many kills yourself. But nonetheless, already shots coming through. Ravens taken down. Lena in a bad spot. Somehow not able to take down Soulbound here. Missing all those shots, but eventually able to get the kill. They shouldn't have gotten that.
I don't know how they did. And they still have a teammate alive. That's the most important part. Rocket Randy's still sitting on the backside of sight. And Lena wants to reswing this. They will, and they'll find 0 fatalities looking the wrong direction. Understandably trying to pay attention to Rocket Randy. And the Heaven spot. They thought they were safe. Well, it's only an illusion. As is the lead now for North Mech, back down to 1, and Garinger deny the bonus, albeit narrowly, but they deny it regardless.
Top 2 fraggers on the side of Garinger. Rocket Randy, you said, was the newer player on the squad since the last time we saw them, right?
Is the sub, yes. They were in for Dead Killer 5779. And they're even playing on the role that Rishi was playing. I feel like Rishi should go back on smokes, though.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
I'm sorry.
But as we say that, though, I mean, Rocket Randy doing well, really decently, pulling their weight for their team. It's them and Lena to try and lead their squad. It's not just Lena, what we saw in the past. Nonetheless, though, 8-7. Garinger need to tie this up with this round. Also, I feel like North Mech are going to run away with the rest of it based on the momentum we've seen from them in the past. And in this half specifically, 2 rounds to their name. But even though we saw so many rounds in the favor of North Mech, what was it, like 5 or 6 out of 7 was Garinger's favor to win the end of the half?
Yep. It was 6 of 7 rounds, and somehow Raven's not cleared. Nobody's looking at them. They're able to pick up a weapon, reload it, and somehow finally die. Lena, in the meantime, finds a kill of their own, and it's a 2v3, but the problem is, they fully give it up B. Watch for the forward position of the Phoenix, right in front. 0 fatalities, aggressive play, Rocket Randy's ready for it.
Wow, that was a series of unfortunate events for North Mech, but hey, they get a spike down, and that's probably all they're going to get. I don't think they're going to get much more than that, depending on where the positioning is here. Backing off, spike defuse potentially coming through. They're shooting everywhere, and well, they got to go for the defuse at this point. Have somebody on it, and it will be Rocket Randy. Cypher rotating around, and yeah, as you mentioned, round's over. The rotate took too long. There goes the final kill.
My question there is, why does G333 go for a very long rotation if they weren't originally seen? I don't hate the call, but unless you do it immediately, you have really no shot of it working. And the fact
also slow too.
Yeah, you have to walk it, and you have to do so with your gun up because anybody can walk down those stairs at any time, so you can't even walk faster with your knife out. And Lena was holding that position. They were expecting it. Why not play around the spike, plan it a little bit more open, give yourself a more reasonable shot, and force Garinger to clear more options? I feel like sometimes you prep and you plant that spike, and then you're like, oh yeah, now I want to do something else, and as soon as you make that call yourself, you're like, oh, well, I've already kind of forced myself into a corner. Or in this case, cubby.
2 rounds at the beginning for the pistol section of things for North Mech, and the other 2 for Garinger, so business as usual for Garinger, I guess you could say, but gotta see what they can do to stop things before a spike plant gets down as a full rotate goes on towards the B side. We do have It Is looking towards the center. will get smoked off for a second, so gonna make it that much more difficult for them to keep an eye on things. And they are like almost completely taken down from that. One player patiently waiting. They need to clear the corner. They do just that. They flash him, and no, it's gonna hurt for Rocket Randy, but perfect timing for the team.
This neural theft used early as well shows them they have a decent bit of space to work with and shows them there's no mid rotation. That's the most important part about this. You have 2 spots to watch, CT and Heaven. Usually you'd have that to watch anyway, but now you do not have to worry about a main whatsoever. There's no Omen on the other side, there's no teleport. They don't have to worry about anything other than this Heaven position, and it seems like they're well aware of it. Nice shot from Fatalities.
Joke's over. You're dead.
I feel like this is basically a win for North Mech unless they like lose all their gun battles as I say that, but Fatality's just baiting them out, getting some more vision. Taken down by Lina though. One step at a time, Soulbound saving the day. And there it goes. Everyone taken down by Garinger. A confident initiation onto that B site. Rotation was immaculate. The smokes were perfect in mid, and it took way too long for Garinger to find their wits about them and do anything about it.
That song that goes, where did the time go? Yeah, where did the utility go for Garinger? They had what? A single bit from ISO. If I'm correct, it was the undercut that makes you a little bit vulnerable. That's, I think, the only bit of utility used, other than maybe a Leer from Lina. They dismissed away. I don't know where that goes for Garinger. They're good at gunfights, but they're not good enough to retake a 5v4 with no util whatsoever. And I don't know. That's another situation where they had such a possible advantage, and then they just don't take advantage of it.
We'll see what goes down now on the A site. Rishi in a bad spot. Knows that they are potentially pushing, but it might be a quick push all the way into that B site yet again. Feel like North Mech are taking their time to see if they can bait out any of the players from the Garinger side, but they're doing the exact same thing they did last go around. It worked out well enough for them that time, but now there's more players kind of situated to move into mid. The wall is there from it is, so they can't purposely push forward too well, and does slow down the transition over towards that B site to make it easier for Garinger to figure out where they're going. But back towards the A side it goes. The B site push didn't work, and I kind of like that plan.
I like the rotation. You figure out, hey, nothing's going over here. Let's switch things up. You also have the information of a purchase. Raven's good positioning. Soulbound's just shoulder peeking. They see the sky, and as soon as they do, they'll swing with the Vandal. Nice little two-piece between Zero Fatalities and Soulbound, and you have the entire A site. You have most of it, and you have your chamber. Oh no, they're not going to clear the chamber. Oh, what? Yeah, it is dead. Nice play.
Oh, it is. You should have known that someone might be there. It took too much time, and well, now we do see a bit of some trades. Who else but Rocket Randy and Lina, the two players you don't want remaining on the Garinger side if you are trying to win a round. Oh, Lina can't take down that player there. Lionfish does escape for a second, and buys precious seconds for that defuse to not be activated just yet, but oh no! Soulbound is going to be so unfortunate.
They have no way to clear the Cypher here, though. No, they did not expect the Cypher to sit on the spike. Can't really blame him at the end of the day. Very good positioning. Imagine the off angle being the objective itself. Not something you expect to see every day. Lina, valiant effort. And at least would have forced a little bit of economic damage. You only find a kill or two. The chamber even survives at the end of the day. North Mech, 2-round lead. And that streak now starting to set in once more. We've seen trades of 2 throughout the entirety of this second half. Maybe that number 2 becomes a little bit more prevalent down the line. Are we going to see this game end with a deficit of 2? Hopefully like a 19-17 kind of game. I want a close one.
I want a close one as well. But we'll have to see if that is going to be the case. Garinger, they've had chances, but I'm just loving the confidence from North Mech, and it feels like if that continues, there's nothing Garinger could do.
5 players rushing the B site. The problem is there are 4 of them waiting on the other side for Garinger. They have currently guessed correctly. The issue is if there is a rotation, albeit loud or otherwise, they will be caught out towards that A side. They only have the sky as of right now. They do have 2, make it 3 players watching mid. So it becomes a possibility. But very one-dimensional on that defensive side. It does change, but throwing out your wall, showing that you're aware of their position, free info, maybe not the greatest of decisions.
Maybe not, but it didn't bite them in the butt just yet. They haven't lost any players at this point in time. And Ravens gets that entry frag. It's the first time in a couple of rounds we've seen that happen. It is also shutting down this push for a second. Ravens again with a third. for the team. And that completely shuts down North Mech. They're having to go all the way to the B side quickly, and there is some players waiting for them.
Oh, and Fatalities can't even get there safely. That's the problem. Benefit is, they have From the Shadows. If you push A right now, your Omen
30
can get
seconds
there
left.
in time. But if you take too long, that opportunity is now just fallen away. Soulbound finds one. Refrag not there. 0 Fatalities could go to A, and is going to do so. Watch for the From the Shadows. That's exactly what happens. This is perfect from North Mech.
This is what you want to see from this team. They've got some time to work with. They blinded them as best they could. They can't get the window on the gunfight. They do escape with their lives somehow with 6 HP. Back onto the site. The spike is planted. Soulbound, 200 IQ plays, but they are just barely holding on by a thread.
Oh, and they're still smoked off, so the Phoenix is going to get aggressive, and Rocket Randy's going to get caught out. Somehow, still alive with 0 Fatalities. They've spent enough time. They've allowed their Omen to re-solidify their position and reload, more importantly. This is going to be a flash intended for their Omen to play patiently. Watch for the timing. Soulbound's just patiently waiting under. Rocket Randy does get resurrected, so Soulbound needs to avoid this fight as long as he can, but he doesn't have a smoke for CT anymore. It's down to just 0 Fatalities. 3 on the round. Make it 4. Almost on for 5 kills. Would not be the ace, but does throw hot hands on the spike. Gives himself more time to work with, and that's the round. Somehow the clutch, the 2v5 from North Mech, technically a 2v6 with the resurrection, and a 0 Fatalities to find 5 kills at the end of the day. North Mech, heroic to say the very least.
Wow, what insane maneuverability from North Mech to clutch up that round and secure the victory and potentially secure the series based on that one round alone. I mean, there was chances for Garinger to shut them down completely. But the 200 IQ plays from the Omen, and also what we saw there from 0 Fatalities, working together, using all their utility as they needed to, and shutting down the trades of 2 rounds back and forth to keep the trend in their favor. 2 more rounds to go for themselves, and I talked about going into that round. I'm confident North Mech, based on the skill that they've been showing, but also just the planning and the way that they've been able to make up for any scenario that they find themselves in, has just been that much better than Garinger.
I think that is the single most coordinated round of a comeback from 2 players that I may have ever seen. Not only do they use From the Shadows, but they wait a few seconds and a couple kills to do it, giving themselves a much more reasonable post-plant. Somehow the Omen doesn't win the first couple fights, gets out again, has a reload, they use Run It Back to allow the reload and more positioning and more time. And then even though the Omen dies, it's still the Phoenix to be heroic. Believe it or not, in the 2v5, 1 kill was picked up by the Omen. But at the end of the day, it is an astounding showing from the 2, to say the very least.
Now it's kind of a slower roll towards the B site. No more rotations through mid. That's pretty much sanctioned off by Garinger. They know at this point in time. Interesting wall coming through by Rishi, as they are being sacrificed to the Wolves time and time again on this B site, but nonetheless, curious on who exactly is going to get that first kill onto them. Frag comes through, and it won't be onto them. Instead, Rocket Randy trades. Lena gets one. It is taken down by Soulbound as well.
Spike.
And Rishi is the kill contract. Can they get it onto G33? That's the first time we've seen them successful with the kill contract.
Yes, but
but they're taken out.
That's the problem. Seeker's out. The issue is, with the kill contract, they drop the spike. 1v1 it comes to, though. Gamer Girl runs out of ammo. 3 seconds left. They'll still fight. Why is Ravens going aggressive? I don't know how North Mech win 2 separate rounds. 2v5, technically a 2v6, and now a 1v3 for Gamer Girl. Yes, the first kill gifted. The second one somehow gifted once more in a completely different way. I cannot believe that North Mech go back-to-back rounds when they certainly should have lost. 2 they certainly should have lost. And now Garinger have 4 consecutive match points to take on. And it's a somewhat similar scenario to what we saw the last time Garinger played. An 8-13 win. Last time we saw them on stream, it was on Bind. Lena went 39-15. Here, not as dominant, but they really only have 1 other player in that general vicinity of kills, and they need more. Clownfist, Tour de Force out, finds 1, and doesn't get taken out immediately. Lena dropped just the same, and that may very well be the end of this one.
I feel like even after what we saw, that initial clutch 2 rounds ago is what was the start of the end for Garinger, and this is pretty much the end here for them as well. 1 player remains. Fatality's doing the best, and Ravens even just going to be taking down their clone, basically.
Oh my gosh.
Not much they can do, but they have to pull off a full clutch to keep them in this game. There goes down 1. Can they get another? The flash comes out, then comes the full push, but not the full push. It baits them out for a second, then everyone's moving forward, and together they get the victory. 0 Fatalities with 3. Everyone firing on all cylinders for North Mech, and then Mech matchups keep going the favor of Mech this time. It's been brilliant performances from both East Mech, now North Mech, to get confident victories that were close in their own ways. I mean, 13-8 and then 13-9, the other one, but still, Mech is always the best from what we have been proven so far. Will that trend continue in that last match of the day, though, is the question mark here. But brilliant performances from both Mech squads. But honestly, North Mech, I mean, they just wowed me in those last few rounds.
Yeah, and not only that, but the fact of the matter was there were close rounds, but when it came down to clutch scenarios, it was North Mech more often than not sustaining. I want to bring it up again. The 13-8 victory they had the last time we saw them, it was a close game, but it was mainly because of an individual player. That was not as much the case here. Instead of 39 kills in the same 21 rounds, it was 22 for Lina. They do actually get more help than they did last time as well, ironically enough, considering they lost the game rather than won it by the exact same margin. But the main difference was, at the end of the day, that clutch potential for the remainder of the team was not there. The times that Lina did get help in their victory was when they fell, and when clutch scenarios presented themselves to the rest of the team, they were available to take the reins. Unfortunately, not as much the case here. Even with the super sub coming through, and in a very drastic way for Rocket Randy, it felt like not only were they disconnected, sometimes they were physically disconnected. They even left the game before the round ended.
Yeah, very unfortunate. It's a rough spot for Garinger. I mean, they did what they could. They looked really good for the most part, but defense was not their strong suit from what was proven, especially the attacking side. North Mech just had a masterclass performance from them. But we do have one more series to go, one more Mech to approach here. It will be West Mech versus Ardrikel in just a little bit of time. So don't go anywhere. This is our final match coming up after this break. Welcome back, everyone. We are on the split here for Westmech and Ardrikel. As you can see, the different sides here. I think we did see Ardrikel. Maybe. Anime sounds like a name that I saw before, but maybe not. Might have been on a different stream. Either way, though, these two teams facing off against each other. Two split maps back to back this time, too. Time to lay. How do you feel about that?
I am a fan of Split, so I'm perfectly fine if we see Split back to back. Bind is okay. Ascent is an atrocity to the human race. I'm sorry. That's. I had to get my 2 cents in before we started this game. I also had to get my 2 cents in about our agent selection. From a hesitant look at things, seems like Ardrikel is the W squad, the team that holds W at least. Westmech, not so much. A little bit more towards Sentinel utility, which really surprises me. So them starting on the attacking side, running double Sentinel. It seems like both teams can afford to lose a fair few rounds on their first half side and be okay for the second half.
Which is a good thing. I mean, that was an issue with the last round, right? Is that the team that was defending, Garinger, really was struggling once it got to them being on the defending side. I mean, they were doing pretty decently on the comeback. They gave too many rounds away to their opponents too early. Even though they were able to tie things up, it was just a different point from then on out. So we'll see how things change as the sides change throughout this match. If we have another close match, I mean, hey, this would be the best day of competition yet, if that's the case.
I'd love to see another close game. I'm looking through mainstream games because I know we have not seen either of these teams. Westmech, we talked about this earlier, they played Northmech. They also had 3 players on the team, so I'm barely even going to bring the game up. The long story short is they lost a 3v5, and nobody was shocked about it. It was a 3v5. I'm sorry. Hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you're not going to win that game. Ardrikel, if I am looking correctly, I do not believe played on the mainstream, so I can't find any results for them. I'm going to keep looking. I'm 2 days away from cleaning out mainstream. Yes, so they played JT Williams. First game of day 1. That's where I remember their name from, because I was talking about the A stream back on Monday.
Right.
And from looking through this game, this was their overtime game. Both streams went to overtime, game 1 of day 1. And the winner, as I keep scrolling, because it's a fairly long game, Ardrikel 16-14.
See, last time, though, we had a winner of an overtime game on stream. They got destroyed. That was their second match. So, you know, maybe the first match is all we need here for Ardrikel to see how far they progress, getting a potential victory here. Westmech, though, positioned in a decent spot. They have to worry a little bit about that. I believe that is a Brimstone that's behind them, waiting just to flank if they can. Just don't want to be heard. And they will be taken out instead by Tuna. Oof.
Tuna with the opening. Westmech kicking off well. Hey, look at that. As soon as they have 5 players, they're starting to shoot off well. Can't say that's too surprising. Illness wants to swing. We'll find one. Wants a second. Not so much. Ass will shut that down. And Ardrikel having some problems early on. And Ath, that's going to be a name, right? Sound like I'm swearing. Apologies in advance.
That's probably why they did that.
Yeah, they had to.
Last player
That's
standing.
100% what they were intending with their name. I'm just going to call them A, just to make it easy on us. So A, looking for something here, has the angle, 1 player left, and they're going to come from the one site that they aren't looking at. So Yushi with the finish onto A. Good look there. And Ardrikel, I mean, Westmech, they had the upper hand, they had the advantage, but it was quickly ripped away from them by Ardrikel.
And Ardrikel at this juncture seemed to be running something similar to what we saw from them against JT Williams. Again, a game they went to basically Counter-Strike MR15 OT on. It ended 16-14. They won it. It was on Ascent. The composition there was Sova, Omen, Killjoy, Raze, and Reyna. Here, they're still running the Reyna Raze. They're also running a Sky in place of that Sova, and a Brimstone in place of their Omen. But they are trying to keep over some level of consistency. It's looking like it was and is now currently working. And they have a collective 50 HP, make it like 20 as the Sage is left over. This is a clean round as ever.
Wow.
From anime.
You said, oh, you know, once they get all their players, they're able to hit their shots. Well, now we have not had a single one really land too much to get them a kill in that second round very quickly. The fastest I've seen defensive side really decimate another team. So maybe we had 2 good mechs and 1 mech here in this third match of the night. But nonetheless, still great matches leading up to this one. Only 2 kills total in those 2 rounds, and they came in the first round. for West Mech. Tuna and A able to get one apiece. Need to change things up here, though. Now that they have some rifles, they got the utility, they got a couple options. Trailblazer does get taken down, but gave them some information and did give them a kill, too.
Seems like that open kill was impactful back in our first round, but wasn't as changing, at least not round changing, in round number 2. Smoke towards heaven still indicates that West Mech want to head towards this B side, but the camera up hasn't been seen immediately, and as soon as it is, they hop off it and they can get aggressive. Range playing vertical as well. This is not going to be cleared immediately.
Nice.
They find one, they can disengage safely as well. Will they stay alive? Yes, they will, with another kill.
Beautiful from range on the defensive end there. Got away with everything that they needed. Spike still in the hands of West Mech, though, so they have some time on the rotation, but they're taking a little bit too much time, it feels like. They are in the mid. They do get flashed. They do know somebody's there. But Ardrikel, I mean, they're defending. They don't really need to push these instances, and wise from them. Still 3-on-2 situation. They still could potentially lose something, but they are sending the Cypher for a rotation around to try and flank them. That's going to be a long flank, and the spikes are going to be planted by this time if they don't take too long to clear the site.
Now should be about the time Ardrikel start to rotate, and as soon as the Cypher swings through mid, they see nobody. They'll actually rotate through sewers. I like this. This is a fairly early sewers rotation in comparison. The one issue is as soon as you're walking that general direction, as soon as you swing a main, they're already looking at that for the possibility of players walking down from the ramp. So it will have to be a very one-dimensional take early for Ardrikel if they want to get back into things. But does West Mech expect the flank? As of right now, they are looking at it, so that could be the possibility going in their favor.
Have to see what happens here. Range. Ooh. Yushi gets one. One player up, but there goes the finish. There goes the defuse. Sky takes down the other Sky. 3 kills, though, to Range here. And Range has been just on a roll in these last few rounds for their team.
Rio, the bonus goes their way as well. This is becoming a problem for West Mech if it wasn't already. And it seems like Ardrikel are very situationally aware when they have either player advantages or disadvantages. Notably in that previous round, you don't have too much aggression, you still have 2 players waiting towards B heaven, understandably, and you have 1 player sleuthing. Just send Yushi, say, hey, we need some information. If your Cypher dies early, you still have 2 players sitting in heaven so they can recover the B site if needed. If they don't, it's basically free info. And they could take all of B main, all of the B link towards mid, and all of mid itself, and as soon as they do, they're like, okay, you guys rotate from CT, I'll go sewers, and it works. Guiding Light through, that one should land properly. It ends up forcing everybody to turn around, and Anime hits a 1-tap on a Neo through the wall. They are not similar to the real Neo. You'll never be him.
Unfortunately, not the one. As Anime gets another, looking for a third. Gonna use some utility instead. All the shots being missed by the other team. Eventually, they're going to be taken down, though. I don't know how it took that long, but 2 shots to their name. Yushi just missing everything, but eventually their teammate will clean it up for them nonetheless. 4-0. Eco round for West Mech, but odd positioning whenever we did see that Reyna push in.
4-0 now for Ardrikel, and it does seem like Anime is taking the reins on this one. And West Mech are forgetting how to ride a horse.
That's a quote.
And the main problem that they're starting to run into is having opening kills go against them. And as soon as they do, they're just trying to recover it. They're like, oh yeah, if at first you don't succeed, try again to throw individual bodies at the problem. Because that's gonna work. And now, 5 players waiting outside of A main. If I saw that correctly, they don't have all that many guns. So it's not unreasonable for them to try a late rush. But this is free information. This is a great cam from Yushi. Somebody write that down.
Beautiful. It's probably in a lineup somewhere on some YouTube video. Or maybe on one of those sites. Speaking of sites, onto the A site, if they can. West Mech looking to push through. We haven't really seen them go towards B much at all, and that might be what they need to do, but Capybara taking down a peg a little bit here. Anime looking for the angle. Nobody in position, so instead they gotta see who's gonna be facing off against them. Luna wins a duel, so looking pretty good for the duelists on the Jet. Yushi hasn't been able to do too much, but everyone moving through here, and that is just gonna be in the firing lines of that. The one theory, they do manage to take them down though.
Taking out the Brimstone. I'm surprised they clear that. Usually it goes overlooked. Mid is now controlled fully by them. So is Heaven. Illness does, however, win that fight. So a spike plan on B, a rotation from CT twice over, as a matter of fact, and an aggressive Cypher in that same conversation. An opening kill's important to say the very least here for Neo. They'll win a first, and Anime has the operator out. And they're going to get aggressive in through their own cyber cage. Neo with 2, and Westmec finally on the board.
Huge for them. They got a plant, they got the kills, they got the win, but can they keep it up from then on out? They've got the plant down only twice of the last few rounds as well. So got to see what is really lacking from this squad. At this point in time, it seems to be when Tuna and A aren't not really able to pop off for the most part. Capybara always first blood for the other team, it seems, too. So maybe if they could stay alive a little bit longer, it'll be a better effort for Westmec to get more than just the single round beginning of this half. But Ardrikel, pretty wise to have this positioning up here. Know that there's some shots coming through. Sending the Trailblazer gets taken out really quickly. The Cypher and Yushi just patiently waiting for them to move forward. But it might be best if this flank happens sooner rather than later. Are they going to completely miss them? Yes, they will. The Cypher. Oh, the Cypher barely escapes. Oh, no, they're still there.
This is perfect, though. Oh, I love this. They're popping the showstopper, forcing him back over to B. Anime's found one, but they know everybody's still in this main position. They'll find one, swing for a second, looking for a third. They dismiss away, trying to avoid it, and they'll go back towards the Cypher, who's looking the wrong way. Anime pops off for 3, wants a 4th. They'll get it as well. Ardrikel and Anime making a statement.
They have the power of Reina and Anime on their side, and there's nothing that can stop them. Oh, man. What a play on that flank. And it's so unfortunate, though, because the Cypher splitting up a little bit there to go and keep an eye on B and fake that they were still pushing that issue. I mean, they had no way of knowing that that flank was there. It's just if they were grouped up with the rest of their team, then would have been a tougher time for Reina to push forward, and just one player might have gone down instead of the whole squad.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Anime now waiting at the back of site. Anime shouldn't be seen here, yes. Very good usage of the tripwire. Saves them on the site. They won't be cleared by that Trailblazer. And they're still safe at this point. Cyber Cage, they'll still try and clear the site, but do they clear the backside of the default box? That's a real question. Not at the same time. Anime with 1. Almost a second. Tuna shuts him down.
Ooh. Tuna only hitting 2 of those blades. The rest missing a bit wide. They wanted to close things out as best they could, but not as successful as they wanted. 3-on-1 situation. Apollo does get a kill, but that's 1 out of a dozen more that they need to win this game against the other team, and 6-1 already. Confidence just oozing out of Ardrikel.
And understandably so. Everybody on the team, barring that one theory, or the one theory, who has been cleared from positions nobody would expect for them to be cleared from. Honestly, I'd be cut off, because usually I'm trying to play the trigger discipline, and I'm waiting for them to walk by me, and I'm like, oh, I'm not going to shoot the first one. And then the first one swings and shoots me in the face because they're looking at me. And it's a feels bad man moment. It's one of those, oh yeah, how'd you die there? I was trying to kill multiple. Well, kill the first. That's the only real conversation that's been mistakes for Ardrikel. And the only round that they've lost is the one where, well, the one theory was cleared from that same position. Aggression through mid. One of the first times we've seen this from Ardrikel. And Anime is getting aggressive. Paranoia misses. And Anime is on the outside of the sky smoke. Do they get cleared? It seems like maybe. Tuna looking for it. He'll find it. He's hoping.
Nice from Tuna. 1 in a long journey for Westmec to get a round past that first one we saw just a couple of rounds ago. Changing the weapons up, back to the Vandal. Smokes out on their own right. Doesn't last too long. As they go through mid, potentially towards the A site. Another smoke comes through and more flashes, but now everyone moving towards the A site. It seems like just the Sage almost alone with the spike, but backing off towards mid a little bit here and there, waiting for their teammates to get into a good position.
Well, they're very hesitant. I was going to say they could try and find that open kill for Apollo and rotate towards B. It's not going to be the case. And Yushi's still waiting on the site. Misses the first opportunity and won't even find a kill. Oh, wow. That's a terrible whiff for the Cypher. And their team wasn't there for help because of good utility usage on the other side. But the one theory, there's their second kill of the game, and an important one to say the very least.
Huge from Illness, too, to take down A. The Omen has been a thorn in their side a couple times here. One theory, got the shots, but not the kill. Tuna with plenty of HP remaining. 1v1 situation. They missed the shots for a second. Does have to dash, but time is ticking down. The flash comes through. They dodge it for the most part. They didn't expect. I don't know where they were looking on that one.
Range trying to fight their demons while in a 1v1.
Maybe their cat bumped their shoulder.
Yeah, I don't know. That's another round where it's close for Westmac. That one they end up walking away with. Nice couple of kills. 4 total, by the way, for Tuna. But Archery Cal, it's still close rounds in which you open up and expect them not to have that same level of advantage. Unfortunate for Apollo trying to walk over towards B and get that follow-up kill into Illness and basically open up the entire B site. They just get caught off trying to walk through a smoke. And at this point, it could have been better for Westmec to start things off. They are recovering a little bit. Apollo sees 2 or 3 players and is like, absolutely not, and runs back to the site.
I like how they have the tripwire behind them now because they know the flank from before. They don't want to have to worry about that yet again. Well, there's one player down, but hey, a free gun.
Oh, Neo.
How did they not get hit at all?
But again, this is one of the scenarios where I would get shot in the face for sure. I always see these things, and it's like, well, how does it work for them? Where they're running and gutting with a Vandal from a quarter mile away, or somehow you no-scope 3 players and an operator. And anytime I try and no-scope people, I end up landing on a different map. And Apollo's running with their knife out. This is why you carry your gun, kids, when you're not in a time crunch.
I know it looks cooler, but it doesn't help you at all. The Rays got a free kill because of it. 8th looking for something. They do smoke them out, or stun them, excuse me, and they can't even do anything about it, but Tuna with a nice cleanup onto that one. It should have been a kill for A, but somehow they weren't able to secure it.
Ooh, headshot on the A. Do they clear the corner? There's no way to
no.
clear this guy. No, no idea.
Down A.
And the spike's down. That's a bad spot.
Oh,
Good from Tuna.
this is reasonable though. A 2v2. The problem is the Reyna is flanking in through A mid, and they think A mid's clear. They think all of mid is clear. Spike has been recovered. Cypher's going to clear, and he thinks he has the drop, but no! Sound cue from Reyna for no reason. Anime's made a decent bit of noise. Do they clear the sky? That's the question. No, the round's over. Range has found the kill. That's all she wrote. Anime follows up. 7-2 Archery kill. And just seems like the time wasn't a factor in the decision-making for Westmac, and it comes back to bite them.
And that's where like decision making has bitten these teams that are on the downswing plenty of times against their, I guess, better and stronger opponents that they've been facing off against. We saw it in the last series where the decision making, excuse me, from the other mech squad, North Mech, was able to get them the victory at the end of the day, 3 rounds in a row, and clutch things up towards the end. But we haven't seen the best out of that game sense from West Mech here.
Get out of my way.
Anime's having fun.
I mean, yeah, I can't really blame him. I always have the conversation of, oh, why are you picking Reyna? Very individualistic agent. It only helps if you're finding kills. And then there are players like Anime who finds the kills, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's why you picked the Reyna. We also saw that in the last game, Lina picking the Reyna to try and save themselves, because most of the time when Lina was dying, the team wasn't winning rounds. You kind of have to find an opening and then have a get out of jail free card, or the dismiss, or even the absorb, where you can have the opportunity.
Ouch.
To HP. And okay, Anime of course finds the opening kill.
Almost 2 at that too, but Tuna was able to get some more HP back for a second. So backing off a little bit here, only using the pistol. Not too much that they can really go with here, and I think it's going to be another quick 8-2 push coming through from Reyna, but they don't clear the corner, and that's going to bite them in the butts. Literally, they're usually having to back off on the play. They do even things up player-wise, 4v4. But that's still not over yet. You have to hop over the tripwire, and they will get one tapped.
Oh,
Onto Yushi. 3 kills now for Neo. Looking really good and confident. Tuna as well. Quickly in the favor of West Mech. I used the knife instead of the gun.
I think it's back-to-back rounds where Neo is swung into a position they didn't have any information on with their knife out and died because of it. Range now is a reasonable 1v3. This is not an impossible round to pick up. You have a guiding light and another one about 30 seconds. There's your first gone. Absolutely blinded as Apollo, and it seems like they're aware that there's the Omen below them. This is a more than possible round now in a 1v2.
If I was West Mech, I would just hide until range pushes. You don't need to peek. You don't need to try and take them down. You don't need to do anything or make extra noise, because they have to come towards the site, and they're going to be taking a long way around. I don't know if it's the best decision, but it is a decision, and If they can clear this corner, then they might be able to see where everyone is
know.
positioned. They do know where they are. Do get the 1 kill, looking for the angle, and get the second one there as well. What a great play from range. 4 kills to their name. Clutch up the round.
200 IQ play there from range, not only not pushing from heaven, but taking your time and still pushing around that CT screen's position. It forces them to not only think, oh, well, he could still be heaven, he could be ramp, but yeah, he's going CT, there's only 2 of us. We have to watch 2 of the 3 angles. And the best case scenario, you don't have to swing both of them at the exact same time. With Tuna looking the wrong direction, still expecting heaven, and they're tasked with it, if you swing heaven, you have to take the fight with Tuna, and then A immediately reswings you. Or you take the fight with A and Tuna reswings you. Same scenario for ramp. Not similar case there for screens, especially because you can get out of screens and retake the fight on your own terms, rather than on A's terms. And it works in your favor. Really good back-to-back rounds for Ardry Kell, where clutch scenarios were difficult, but still more than reasonable. And I gotta say, Neo, you need to play gun up if you're playing rounds like this, and they just have it anime, operator out, they already find an opening kill. And
Well, they had their gun up. It just wasn't good enough. Hey. Oh, if they got that somehow through the wall, I mean, it's not possible, but that was just been so unfortunate for Neo, too, after the resurrect. Good thing they put the wall up first, otherwise it would have just been another quick kill for the other side for anime.
do they know range is there? I don't think they saw range, but for some reason they're still clearing it. And they do. Hey, A finds the kill. Range
Wasn't even moving. Okay.
I mean, yeah, they had to tuck, but it doesn't go their way. And that opening kill for enemy not only negated with the resurrection, but now countered with A's opening frag the other way.
Puts the smoke up the other direction, too. Hey, there comes the flash, but it doesn't ping anyone, so I don't know if anyone is exactly in that position. Still trying to get towards the B site, but now rotating all the way around to A. Illness takes down Tuna. Now, I was about to make a remark about this, too. Tuna has been pretty much carrying the West Mech squad for the most part, so now that they are down, it's going to be a tough task to fulfill for them to get the victory. Neo as well, going right after that with 8 kills to their name, so rough spot for West Mech to try and get the 3rd round for their team. Well, they do get 1 for Apollo, make it 2 for Apollo, okay.
The time.
There's 8 seconds. Be Apollo.
What are they doing?
You mentioned it, they're not getting the spike down whatsoever.
I can't believe they're saving in a 3v2. I have seen it all. West Mech don't push the site, first problem. They take too long to push heaven, second problem. And as soon as they find 2 kills, they save at the top of A ramp.
Why save with 1 round left?
Okay, now, one thing that you can do on the attacking side, if you go into your settings and you go to HUD and you enlarge the HUD, the timer at the top of your screen gets bigger. So maybe you'll pay attention to it.
Oh no. DM.
What?
It is true. I mean, there's no reason that should have happened. And it exactly happened as I was talking about it. As the heads of the snake of West Mech were taken down, they lost all control, all sense of time, and all sense of anything. Neo again taken out by Anime in that early pick, and this is all Ardry Kell needs to do to eventually win this game. Just get these opening picks and then wait for the rest of them to just run forward. Finally, a flash working out in their favor, but the ultimate coming out the other direction.
Ritter always sees the head, not the physical outline of the Omen, luckily for West Mech, but does it really matter? You have an opening kill, you have 2 players going through attacker spawn.
And a shorty.
And I think they've just stopped making noise. Hold up. I think they stopped making noise a little bit too late, though. 2 players should have been just heard, and this should be cleared, and yet Yushi still wins the fight because, yeah.
Good trades, but Yushi gets another one for the road. Gonna get 3. Oh, the one theory gets 1 as well. Ouch. That's gotta hurt. And that's pretty much done, unless Tuna can somehow clutch things up. Gets 1, gets 2, okay. 3 kills to their name. Them versus the Brimstone. They don't have the spike, though, is the big thing. And they have 30 seconds. They ran out of time before and gave them some audio cues there. So they pick it up. Need to get the plant down, but if they lose after this plant, it's kind of a moot point anyway, but it does buy them some extra time. The one theory looking in the wrong direction, that does buy some more to Tuna, but they are taking too much, and Tuna with the clutch. Wow. Nice one tap.
1v3, a spray transfer for 2 to open up, and the 3rd kill, nice. It's clean from Tuna, but it's the rest of West Mech just having problems. We said it the round prior. Losing Tuna early has been a main problem of their real existence. If I'm doing my math correctly, which correct me if I'm wrong, Tuna has the exact same amount of kills as the rest of the team combined. Yeah, 8.
Yeah,
14,
that is correct.
18.
Yes.
That's absurd.
And Capybara in 13 rounds, not a single kill.
Hey,
Ouch.
at least they're not 0-12 or 0-13. I've seen somebody go 0-13
That's
in
true.
12 rounds because they were resurrected.
That'd be me, knowing my luck. Well, it's now or never in these next few rounds in this half for West Mech. Honestly, if they can't get one of these first 2 rounds, I feel like that's going to be all she wrote for their team. Anime leading the charge, gets the first blood onto who else but Capybara, as I was talking about. Does give some information to West Mech, but taking their sweet time to get into a good position here. Apollo taken down by Anime again.
Going for
Ooh.
third? No. A will finally shut them down, but it's still a 3v4. You have to retake from ramp, screens, and heaven, and your screens player's dead, so is the ramp player dead. Range, make it. Oh, I thought they were going to find third. Stillness to take it, but it's still 10 for Ardry Kell. And both pistol rounds.
Good looks here for Ardry Kell. 3 more rounds to go for them to clean out this victory and finish off strong going into their last match of the group stages. Which will likely be happening this weekend. Nonetheless, though, this is just one step in that journey for them, and it's not just one player popping off. It's not just Anime. Range doing really good, Illness doing really good. I mean, even Yushi on those rotations around, and the way that they are using their utility onto the B site every time just to bait out the other team. Maybe pushed up a little bit too much here, but the Trailblazer comes through. Not going to connect with anyone, but does get taken down, and they do know that they are going for a full push onto the B site, so everyone getting in position. But as I say that, Neo taken down by Fury. And another great look here.
Illness re-swings that and has help from the one Theory. 2 for 2, 3 for 2, and there goes A. Anime with 2 of their own as well, and Ardry Kell. Again, it's just a W key. Even with utility thrown at their feet, even with slow orbs across the board, they don't care. They couldn't care less, as a matter of fact.
Well, they care about winning these next 2 rounds and not having to go even longer against West Mech, and we'll see if that is going to be the case. The attack as quickly as we have seen from either side. And that's the biggest difference between Ardry Kell and West Mech here. The beautiful play that we have been seeing from them so far, now going towards the mid site, it looks like instead. Sending Yushi, towards B. To make sure nobody pushes behind them and catches them in the act. The wall is up, not fully actually covering everything. So it gives them some time to move around and cover the angles, but they aren't looking at this point in time. One player is looking from that direction, and Ace does get one, but the trade comes through. Good finish again from Illness.
It's still Ardry Kell winning like every fight, and they're going the wrong site, but I don't think it's going to matter. Anime aware. 2 from Tuna. Make it a 2 for 1, but Spike is going to be retrieved. And Neo is in the worst possible position to play a judge with. Make it worse because they're going to the B site.
On the wrong side of the map.
Oh, no.
Wrong info, wrong time, wrong place, and maybe wrong gun, as you were saying there. But does pick up the Spectre instead. We'll see if they can clutch things up. We've seen Neo do decent, but I don't know if they'll be able to do enough to take down Yushi and the Reyna on the other end. A couple shots coming through. Anime knows where they are, backing off towards the site. Still not going to be exactly what we want to see from Neo here.
Quiet.
You heard. He's saying quiet. The problem is he's also taking forever. And the camera's seeing him. A 1v2. The Reyna's going mid for some reason, and is going to have the time to do so. And to make matters worse, it's planted for them. All it's going to take is a second or 2 of delaying from the Cypher on the other side. Yushi's going to swing this, they'll force him off, and there's a swing from Anime.
Ooh.
They didn't even need it. Yushi finds the kill. 12 for Ardry Kell, and 9 consecutive rounds for West Mech now are requisite if they want to keep things alive here, and it does not look likely.
The last round that was won by West Mech was right at the end of the half. It's been spread out, none back-to-back. 2 rounds between the first 2, and then 3 rounds between the second and third round wins for West Mech, and dire straits for them. They're going all shotguns this time. I like to see it.
Is it a W key again for Westmec? It seems to be the case. And they're sending it all into Anime, who is the only one here. The rest of the team is sprinting through mid. And the Empress pops. Everybody walking into them. There's two, and they'll dismiss away. Oh no.
There goes Westmec. Sails taken down by the cannonball that is Anime. Another shot coming through. There's four looking for the ace. It can't get it though. Does get shut down by who else but Tuna. Duelist on the other end. If anyone can clutch it, would be them, but they can't do it here. Usually takes them down a peg. 13-3, the most confident victory we have seen today. The last victory we'll see on the stream.
I don't even think it's that close at the end of the day. It is Ardric Hell, and it is Westmec making mistake after mistake, and Ardric Hell looking better and better. The combination of the two factors, and look at the kill totals at the end of the day. Tuna goes 21-13. And again, I'm going to say it, correct me if I'm wrong, it is 22 kills for the remainder of the team combined.
Yep, that is correct.
That is terrible.
That's unfortunate. Asking if they have another game, unfortunately, well, I guess the defending side does have another game. Right? No, the defending side doesn't. That's it for them. Arjikel, they were able to get the victory there. I believe they have another game. Maybe not tonight, but it would be this weekend for them to qualify for the regionals themselves. And they look pretty confident after that. Most of the teams we saw get the wins, even if they were close games. I would not be surprised if they were able to move on from then on out. But that's all the matches for this week here. Time to light. Any final thoughts as we wrap up Valorant for the VESL High School qualifiers?
You know, as soon as everybody had 5 members on their team, we had a great week. Some of the games,
So true.
maybe not so much, but high school being what it was, a couple games being stomps was completely understandable. Happens in the collegiate scene, honestly, happens in professional play. But everybody at least learned something from today, and hopefully they can watch back the VOD and, you know, hear me outwardly criticizing them. Apologies if I feel a little bit forward, but sometimes there are situations where improvements can obviously be made, and sometimes just a click of a switch or a flip of a switch, and you're looking at a completely different game. Couple kills, maybe a couple decisions throughout the game, and something can change. I believe that's the last possible opportunity to make it to regionals for some of these teams, so unfortunately we'll have to say goodbye to them for the remainder of not only the season, but into regionals and states as well. However, a great week, and honestly, I'm really happy to do it. We had a great week of Valorant, really close games through and through. A couple, maybe not so much, most of them being 5v4s, but it was a nice week regardless.
Hey, we finally had a day without a 5v4. That's all I'm happy about here at the end of it. So let's go. But thank you all for tuning in to the VESL Valorant High School qualifiers. I believe there's still some action going on the A stream, which is at VESL GG. No multi-stream today, but there will be more matches playing out throughout the weekend. So keep tuned in to the VESL Discord if you are a part of those high schools. If you want to see who makes it, that's probably the best spot for that there. But next week will be the final week of action here for the year for VESL, and that will be Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 starting on Monday, same time, same place, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on both streams as we typically have. So you definitely want to make sure you're following the channel. Tune in then, and we'll see you next week.